And we are live. Welcome to the Iron Lords podcast, episode number 52. And it's another glorious Sunday, and we are back at the round table on the Lord's Day. We've got a very special guest, Xbox and SEGA rumors, State of Decay 2 price drop, January MPD, Phil Spencer's speech, Switch port rumors, and Xbox One X Parity to discuss, so we're going to get right into it. I want to introduce a Lord whose quality content and unbiased approach to gaming deserves much needed recognition at the round table. Similar to the ILP, this Lord's passion for Destiny and multi-platform gaming is evident in everything he does. From his indie spotlights and Let's Plays, all done with tremendous dedication and great humor. Introducing the co-founder and producer of the Short Pause Gaming Podcast, the Tick Award nominee for the best podcast of 2017, and the Lord who always will remind you why hunters are the master race. Making his debut in the realm of the Lords, my man, Lord Dude 79. How you doing, sir?
I am great. First of all, I gotta say this. This is a big ass table. Now, when you guys talk about this round table, this thing is massive. This is a big round table, and I'm happy to be sitting here with you fine gentlemen. I appreciate you guys having me on. Yes, and as you mentioned, I've been following the Iron Lords podcast ever since we lost to you guys for best podcast. So I'm a big fan of you guys' show, and I just want to tell you guys, since I started listening, the thing I dig about your show is the positivity. You guys focus on the games, you guys focus on the news, and you leave everything else to the side. And I dig that about you guys' show. So many podcasts right now can kind of like edge towards that negativity and focus on the negativity. You guys focus on the positivity, and I really, really admire that. So it's a pleasure to be here, and thanks for having me on.
Much appreciated, man. It means a lot. We've been talking for a little bit, trying to work out the schedules to get the dude, Lord Dude himself on the show. You know, we love what you guys are doing out there, man. Huge fans of Short Pause, man. You know, I try to sneak in your Let's Plays and your spotlights as much as possible. I really like what you're doing, and like you said, I mean, just always want to support the positive people in the community. And yeah, shout out to Lord Piccolo, Lord Viper Strike, Lord Bender, the crew.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
I love that Piccolo.
He just like his name.
Piccolo. I love that name. I swear I love
it. No doubt. And of course, we have the four horsemen of gaming, those usual suspects at the round table. I'm assuming my co-host with the co-most will be joining us in progress. He will be getting off work soon. I don't think he's in just yet. But of course, we have our most technical gaming Lord, the solo gamer who lives for the single player selfish experience, and also the Lord of Receipts, Mr. Offline Profile Illuminati, my man, Lord Sovereign. How are we doing, sir?
Doing good, man. A little tired. I wasn't able to catch all of the combat sports last night because Lady Saab was a little sick, so we had to head out to to the ER just to make sure everything was cool.
Oh, damn.
You know, it was, fever, whatnot, and just one of those things where it's better to be safe than sorry, especially with all the flu stuff going around. So I missed some of the combat sports.
Had a little flu panic. My nose has stopped up. He said, "Baby, let's get the car. Let's go. Let's go now." Flu is no joke. This flu is out here taking lives for real.
So so I missed some of the combat sports. I caught some of it this morning sporadically, but I'll let King lead with that, and I'll jump in on what I know that I saw.
And of course, we have the excess gamer.
Ooh.
The Lord of Combat Sports, who is a man of his convictions, demands nothing less than the premium experience, and is the Tiki Torch Extinguisher.
Ooh.
Beloved Lord King, how are you doing, sir?
Good morning, people. Do you feel that? Do you understand what that is right there? That's King with a shirt on. That's an inside joke. You ain't got that. But let me tell you something. Last night we had the Battle of the Unknown. chimes. Right? You know how in wrestling you have the floppy guys that come out early while you getting your popcorn and stuff together, and then out there you like, yo, that guy's kind of nice. I don't even know what his name is, but so check P check, he nice. Right? So yesterday, you know, they threw together the Battle of the Unknowns. Now, I'm never disrespecting anybody that put on those gloves that go into that squared circle to get it on. Trust me, you risk your life every time you go through those ropes, every time you put that mouthpiece in, every time you slap it together and you touch hands and you commence in combat. So, no disrespect to anyone that fought last night. It was a battle of the unknown foreigners. And let me tell you something. Because they was all foreigners. I've never seen a card that had every person from every square of this earth on it. I mean, and I'm talking about remote places fighting from Cambodia in this water. He is standing in a pool of piss with milk. And they got it on last night. I mean, you had some good fights. You had So Check B Check versus Chak Chak Poo Poo, and they got it on last night. But let me tell you something. Next week is the big fight. You have the heavyweight champion of the world fighting his #2 mandatory King Kong.
Okay.
That's going to be a great fight. And then you have the washed up light heavyweight champion of the world that Andre Ward washed him up and made him quit.
Who Andre Ward did this to? Who?
Kovalev.
That's Kovalev.
Oh,
you know, the crusher, the killer, the racist, the openly racist.
Oh, wow.
Right? And, you know, I don't touch those subjects, but he's openly racist. I mean,
wow. So we hoping for him to get stretched in, like, pretty much.
No. You know what it is? I'm hoping he bounced back. I want him to get to the highest form of his mountain so he can fall harder. So I'm praying for him to win next week so he can actually fight somebody worth merit. But to MMA, we have a little bit of a controversy last night. I saw a great MMA match. I saw a clean fighter fighting another clean fighter. I saw beautiful headshots, body work, ground and pound. And then at the end, the MMA community's in the uproar. You please have to enlighten me on this because I saw what I thought was a really good match.
It was until the illegal kick to the head, the illegal knee to the head.
So break it down, Lord Sam.
It was a grazing knee. Was it? But it was Jeremy Stevens. Oh God, what is he? Emmett, the other guy's name.
Emmerich, right?
Emmett, right?
Right.
And Jeremy Stevens is a beast. Like his nickname is Little Heathen, and that's exactly what he is. Like he's an animal. And it was a good fight up until that point. Stevens caught him with a left hand, dropped him, and just swarmed him. He dropped a bunch of elbows to the side of the head. The last one might have grazed the back of the head. That I didn't feel to be so egregious. But when Emmett tried to get up, and Stevens, he held his head and swung and lifted his knee up to hit him while both of his knees were still on the ground. When your opponent's knees are on the ground and you try to kick him to the head, that is an illegal hit. At least 1 foot he has to at least be off of one knee.
Right.
So yeah, that was an illegal hit. It was grazing. It didn't catch him flush, but so that's where the controversy is. After that, Stevens continued to swarm him. He hit him with 2 elbows, basically from top position, and knocked him out. And that was that. But, you know, it's one of those things, like, in the moment, I don't think Stevens meant to do it intentionally. He's just an animal like that. That's just his fighting style. And it was on the ref to see it. And it was kind of blatant, though. It was blatant. That's the only thing that bothers me, that it was so blatant in the moment that the ref not seeing it. Rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, it did. I mean, listen, in all fairness, I mean, it was very, what's the word? Like, it was very bam. It was kind of like, you know, everything was very fast in the moment. So I can't, based on what I saw, I can't say that, you know, Little Heathen had deliberate intention. Yeah, it's clear. You know what I'm saying? Some stuff went down there.
I think the name.
It was old school pride rules for one.
I think I think his name is causing the controversy. I'm telling you, because had it been Young Pacifist has caught him with the knee by mistake, and let's let that go. But when you say young heathen then put that knee to somebody's head. I mean, that kind of sounds like you said. Who said what? Heathen. Let's do that. I think he did it on purpose.
Have a lot of negative connotation.
Yeah, it does. But I mean, my thing now, I think he definitely deserves the shot at the title. I think he deserves a shot at Holloway. But there are two people still in front of him. But I think he's the one that's shown lately that he's ready for it. He's been in the company for a long time without a shot. So yeah, I say Dana, give him the shot. Like, give him the shot. I want to see that fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. Of course, it's Lord Cognito here. We're spreading that gaming realness on the ILP. Not telling you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. So we're going to get into these games. But before we get into what the Lords are playing this week, I want to start off with Lord Dude. His video game system history, his passion for Destiny, and of course, what led him to the creation of the amazing Short Pause Gaming Podcast. So, Lord Dude, let's start out with those video games. What was like the first systems you had? Like, let's start from the beginning.
The one that I know that I had first was the Intellivision. I'm showing my age.
Listen, I had it too. Let's go.
I remember it briefly. I just remember we had it, but I think it was the Nintendo when it launched. Super Mario Brothers. Jumping into that, that's when I first got my experience with video games. Duck Hunt, Rygar were all games that I love spending time with. Nice. So I was a Nintendo child growing up. Never really dabbled with Sega. I know that's not going to be a popular opinion around here, but
until we give the realm already. Now let me stop.
Until the Dreamcast came around. The Dreamcast came around and it changed my opinion of Sega very much. I love the Dreamcast. Thought that was a great system. Nice. And then after that, just went to the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3. In terms of games that I liked playing, I was mostly a sports kid growing up. I loved all sorts of sports games on just about every one of the platforms. Started with 10-yard fight on the Nintendo.
Wow. Taking it back 10 yards.
Tell them when the sprites used to just hug each other.
I don't even know if they were hugging. I thought they were doing something else.
Exactly. This is the PG version of the show.
I digress. Then it went to what was another one that was really good? I think John Elway football was another good one that I got into, and then Brett Favre NFL football for the Nintendo 64 was really good. But I think the one that changed me forever was NFL 2K5. That is still, in my opinion, the best football game ever made. I love NFL 2K5. And then after that, I kind of went away from NFL games for a little bit. Didn't really get into Madden, but NCAA football changed my life. That I still blame NCAA football for failing multiple classes in college. Now, let me tell you what. Let me explain.
Break it down.
Okay, when NCAA football started introducing online leagues, that's when things got really bad, because my brother would be recruiting the same player that I was recruiting, and I was like, okay, look, I got an exam in an hour, but I know he's pushing hard on this dude. I was like, I'm not going to take the exam. I got to work on this dude. So I would go to my recruiting. Oh, I'm telling you, dude, it was fierce. It was my brother, my cousin, and a couple friends. It was fierce. And I would skip class to work on recruiting. So I blame NCAA football for my GPA through college. It was not very, very good.
Salute. Who was the dev? Who was the dev there? I'm trying to think back then.
Man, your bad decisions. You
shout out back in the chat. They like, what's up with Super Tecmo Bowl? And you a Nintendo kid. What happened?
No. Super Tecmo Bowl was there, dude. I know everyone loved Bo Jackson, and that was great. But I was a Christian Okoye fan for the Chiefs.
Okoye was a beast.
Okoye was a beast. So that was my squad. If I wasn't playing as the Lions, because those were my boys. I'm a Lions fan. Unfortunately, I hate to admit that, but just a lot of
this greatest running back ever. Come
on, I love that.
Brief sunlight. It was brief, but it was sunlight.
It
was sunlight. I'm a Jet fan, so okay. I'm gonna let y'all know my blood is green through and through. Just because you see the Hulk, don't think my blood is not all the way green. It's 100%, man. I'm 100% with this.
Continue, Lord Dude, on your sports and gaming history.
So I mean, it was mostly sports growing up. My friends and I were very competitive in that regard. NBA Live '97, one of the greatest experiences of my life was my best friend. We during towards the end of the school year, we were like, all right, look, dude, we're gonna do a best of 7 series. My Pistons versus your Bulls. And at the time, I had like Lindsey Hunter and Grant Hill and that squad. And we were playing for 2 big bites at 7-Eleven. That's what the high school kids were playing for 2 big bites. And I remember, dude, it was game 7. And our friendship almost ended, mind you. Game 7, Lindsey Hunter in the corner, fadeaway 3 with 3 seconds left, drains it. So I get my big bites. And, dude, every time I stop at 7-Eleven and I go to get a big bite, much to my doctor's chagrin, I send my buddy a text of me, and I just go, man, this thing tastes really good.
Oh, you a savage.
Oh, yeah, and he sends me, I just get the middle finger emoji back. That's all I get.
You like Lord King. You'll never let us forget.
Never. Dude, that's like 20 years ago, dude. That's 20 years ago, and I remind him of Lindsey Hunter, the greatest three-point shooter of all time. I beat player 99, who was Jordan on the NBA Live. Player 99.
Tell him.
Let me ask you a quick question, Lord Dude. Now, that NBA Live, wasn't that the first, like, I don't want to say like 3D / kind of isometric? It used to go like diagonal, right? Didn't it?
I do remember that, but I believe this one we played, it was side to side. It was side scrolling, but I think you could change it. I think
you could change the whatchamacallit. You can change it. That's the one that I made people walk it out with. Like, you know, like, listen, let me tell you something. Just the same way that you say that, I have a story, but I digress. I'm not going to get into that because this will seriously hurt somebody's career.
Yes, we don't need to.
Yeah, I'm not going to do this, but here at the Iron Lords podcast, we have some horrendous bets just in the same vein of that beautiful bet that you have put up, and I love it. You would have fit right in with us with these bets.
Absolutely. So then you moved on, and then, like I said, you said you went all the way to PlayStation. Now, in between time, I just want to ask you. I got a couple of systems that I didn't hear about. Now, I know you weren't really a SEGA kid. You were kind of Nintendo through and through. So I'm assuming you stayed in that ecosystem, 64, GameCube, that kind of bit.
Actually, I stopped at the GameCube or at the 64. I never made it over to the GameCube, which I'm disappointed about because there were so many great games that came out on the GameCube. But it was very difficult for me to have my parents like grab all these different all these systems for me. You know, I was a kid, so I was pretty humbled with just having one system. And then when we went to the Dreamcast, you know, that kind of set me up to go to the PlayStation after that. So I never made it to the GameCube, but yeah, the 64 was my last one.
We can't have you on here now.
Yo, Attic, why you sound like you're in a cave, man? What's going on?
He's in the closet at work. He's talking.
What's going on?
Yeah, your audio's a little crazy. It sound like you're like muffled, like you're in the far place.
Yeah, it sounds like you broadcasting.
Nah, it sound bad. You might want to drop out, drop back in. It definitely sound like you're in a cave. He'll be back. But Lord, all right. So you got up to the Dreamcast, you got everything popping. Then we moved over PlayStation, all that good stuff. Now, was Xbox One ever part of your ecosystem, or did you jump in with the 360, or no Xbox systems until later?
Yeah, the first one I owned was the 360. I grabbed that when I think it was a Call of Duty World or Call of Duty 2 was the big title for it when it launched, and I really enjoyed that. I thought that was like my first time with an Xbox product.
All right, what about now?
A little
still
bit,
corner,
but still the corner. But okay, continue, dude.
But at the time, you know, the Xbox One is my first real jump into the Xbox ecosystem to really be able to appreciate a lot of the games that have come out on the platform. Like I feel very fortunate that they did the Master Chief Collection, and then they did the Gears of War games, you know, remastered one, or the Ultimate Edition of the first Gears of War. Being able to go back and experience these games that I missed last gen was very beneficial, and I really appreciate that. So I've grown to really enjoy the Xbox side of things in terms of their exclusives and their games, and being able to play the games that I missed in the past.
Nice, absolutely, man. Cool. So let me ask you one question. What about? I'm gonna put you on the spot. Top 5 Lord Dude game franchises. Your personal favorite games, as far as it could be a franchise. It doesn't have to be like a specific, title, but just.
Man, put me on the spot. I'm trying to think here. Some of the ones that really just the franchises. Well, I'd have to say Mario Brothers. I spent a lot of time playing the Mario games when I was younger. Those were very influential in getting me into gaming, to appreciate gaming. Nice. The Mario games were very, very big. And then I'd have to say after that, the NCAA football games. I spent a lot of time playing NCAA football. I really loved those EA games. I thought those were the best football games out there. So I spent a lot of time with those.
I love it.
And then, trying to think what else was really impactful. Uncharted games. I really enjoyed that because that was like the first time I played games that were very heavily story driven and very well done. So I really enjoyed that. But it's hard to nail 5, but I'm going to say probably the most influential game, the 2 most influential games for myself. The first one was SOCOM 2 because that was my first dive into multiplayer. And I mean, seriously, that game consumed me. I loved that was my first time hopping online, playing online multiplayer, and my cousin and a couple of my friends and buddies, we started playing. I mean, that's the game like defined the all-nighter for me.
Nice.
Hop on at 8 p.m. and we would just next thing you know it's 4 a.m. dude. I was just like, oh my gosh, but it was just so good.
Where did the time go?
Yeah, being able to play with friends who weren't in the same city, or my brother who had just moved away for a little bit, being able to play with him and bring us all together was really awesome. And then I think the other one is probably Destiny, because Destiny was just that's one of that game like built on basically what I got from SOCOM. You know, it was a multiplayer game that brought me together with not only my closest friends, but other people, new friends like Frankie, Viper Strike. I met Bender on there. Boys Piccolo 930. He's a big fan. Just the community of the first Destiny was so strong, and I absolutely loved how much stuff there was to do. I spent a ridiculous amount of time in Destiny, and that's probably one of the most influential games of my life as well.
Nice. You literally just led into my next line of question. It was about your Destiny passion, and as far as like what led you guys kind of, because you kind of got it was in the same vein as us in the sense that like your foundation actually kind of started out with Destiny. So you talked about that community and stuff like that. So that's cool, man. You actually led right into it. So now the next question I have for you is reference to the Short Pause Gaming.
Yes.
And what led to that whole creation, you guys forming up, and how did that whole process start?
Well, it started before Short Pause. I had met some guys that I was writing reviews on Tumblr, I think it was. I was just kind of getting into writing reviews, talking about video games there. And I came across some guys that were running a podcast called Play Nation Plus. And I was like, oh, okay. And they saw my review for a game. Like, hey, you want to be on our podcast? I was like, yeah, sure. I'll try it out and just see what it's all about. And I hopped in.
Sound better now?
Much better.
Yes.
Fantastic.
There you go.
And being able to learn kind of the ins and outs of running a podcast and all that jazz, I was like, man, I really do like talking about video games, because these guys I met up, they were very passionate gamers. And then I saw the way podcasting, you could reach out to other gamers and talk to them about games. Like, man, I really enjoy getting together with other gamers, talking about games, talking about how much they mean to us and stuff like that. And so once Play Nation Plus kind of slowed down and guys started going those separate ways, like a buddy I work with, we started talking about, hey, let's try doing a website. Let's see what happens. Okay. And so it kind of spawned in 2014. And my buddy at work, he was good friends with Boyce Piccolo 930, and we all came together and said, here, man, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this. And originally our podcast was like bi-weekly. And we weren't even sure if we were going to stick with it. You know, we were just like, man, there's a lot of work that goes into this. And Boyce was like, man, we should probably go weekly. And I was like, man, I don't know if we have the time for that, because I don't know if you guys know this, but our show is not short. It's
you guys are like us. We tend to be long-winded.
Yeah, we run long. And so we went to weekly, and we just started kind of building an audience. And once we got to the website portion down, we went to the podcast, and then it kind of evolved into a video podcast. And, it's basically this, man. Our website, we're like, look, we're not journalists. We're not media. We're just gamers. And that's the one thing we always try to keep in mind when we create content. We don't want to come at it like journalists and, we have inside scoops and try to do stuff. We're just gamers, and we want to talk about games for gamers with gamers. And that's like always been our mission statement. Just we're gamers talking about games. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been an awesome experience, and watching the podcast evolve and trying to improve it as best we can on a weekly basis. It's just been an incredible learning experience. And I've learned a lot of stuff when it comes to like producing videos and producing a podcast. It's just it's a labor of love. I mean, it can take up a lot of time. It takes up a lot of my time, and you guys know this. It takes up a ton of your time.
Ton of time.
But when
you have no idea what it takes. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But when you love doing it, it doesn't matter.
You just nailed it. It's when you have that passion, and sometimes I'm actually writing the show and I'm just like smiling, laughing, like I can't wait till we get to this to see what people are going to respond, and just the interactions and stuff like that. So you just nailed it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of dedication, but it's when you love and you have that passion for it, it doesn't feel as much as work.
Podcasts are really fun until you end up spending a whole weekend playing Bloodborne.
Then the frustration starts to mount. I bet.
No doubt.
No, the whole game I didn't really frustrate. Like it really frustrated until the last boss. Like I literally was like, I got to get off here. Like, I'll talk to you guys in a couple hours. I need to calm down because I just get myself killed over and over again.
Speaking of which, I gotta give you your intro, bro. My co-host with the co-host, my brother from another mother, the difficult game conqueror, and the how of the young wolf, Bobby, Lord Attic with the good microphone. How you doing, sir?
I think what happened is it registered my my headset that I'm wearing and not my snowball, so I disabled my other headset, so it was like, you can't use this. This is not the one you use.
This is not the premium experience.
Yeah, I mean, I had a decent weekend. I played like probably 12, 13 hours of Bloodborne, and it was. I saw the streams. It was very rough. I mean, it's okay. Let me get this straight here, okay? Mm-hmm. People who are out there saying Bloodborne's hard, calm yourself down. Like, Dark Souls is way harder than Bloodborne.
Shots fired.
It was only like 2 bosses that had me like, what is going on? Like I fought some dude under a sea with a bunch of spiders. He had me lit for a couple seconds. But after I figured out how to fight him, I was like, this dude ain't nothing. Okay, the last boss, I felt like the only people that got me problems was people with guns. Because they spammed the shit out of guns. Gotcha. I'll be sitting in the middle of a combo. He hits me like 3 times with a shotgun. I'm like, dude, that's enough. Dude, that's enough. What are you doing? It's like, how many bullets is in this shotgun? Like, seriously.
No doubt.
And ironically, the last boss had a shotgun.
Cool.
I appreciate that you torture yourself like that to let so people can watch you play, because
they love it.
I don't know if you
really love
heard,
their streams.
But Kid Smooth has to beat the game now. So
I saw that.
I don't know how that's gonna work because those aren't Kid Smooth's games at all. Like and then he was like, well, there's a bet going on right now that if he beats it, he gets $400.
Oh, okay.
And he has 50 hours or he has to do it before E3.
Wow.
And I was like, kid, come on. You're not even looking about the people, like the money you're going to make off the streams. It's like, what do you mean the money you're going to make off streams? It's like, dude, over 1,000 people watched you play Disneyland. You're good. Like, let's be real here.
No doubt. Yeah, man. So I just want to finish up with a Lord Dude. We're finishing up with the Short Pause Gaming podcast creation, and we're just talking about how difficult it is to get stuff going at first, but you got the passion going, and then so again, you guys, I just want to clarify the meeting of all 4 of you, because I believe was it Viper Strike Bender, Piccolo, and yourself.
And then there's Taz as well. There's a 5th guy, Taz.
There's a 5th Short Pause member, the secret member. Okay.
Yeah, he's kind of like the wizard behind the curtain. He takes care of the website. He does the website stuff, making sure it's up to date. But he also covers a lot of anime for us. Nice. So he more handles the anime front. He's helped out with a couple of video games, but he's more into the anime, and he still handles that. But he's mostly kind of like the webmaster, takes care of the site.
Gotcha. That's what's up, man. Yeah, man. So consistently, like you guys been doing it. Like I said, I try to pop in as much as I can. I see the Nightfall stuff. I saw when you guys did 9 Parchments. I was actually interested in that game. You guys did like a little live junk with that. Yeah. Plus, I gotta shout them out. So they had the Wolverblade indie spotlight too.
Yes.
So I was like, yeah, man. I like these guys. I was like, they touch it. Like I like that you give little titles and big titles. Oh, and shout out to you guys for the Kingdom Come Deliverance interview that you had with the community manager. I believe it's Rick.
Yeah, Rick. Yep.
Yeah, that was fantastic. That was a great job. I really like that. You guys sat down with him and asked the questions, and then, like I said, just nice quality, having the gameplay going on in the back and stuff like that. Really good.
What, dude? The one thing about that interview is it probably should have been 20 minutes longer. Mm-hmm. We had all sorts. I mean. Okay, just a quick story here, and I'll stop. But this is like part of the problem but the difficulties of podcasting. Yeah, we were using YouTube. We were using YouTube to talk to Rick and to grab all the audio and whatnot. We captured off of off of Skype. Right. And so during anytime we record our podcast, no issues. Skype never freezes. Software never freezes up. Everything is beautiful. anytime we get a developer on, Skype just says, you know what? I'm going to take it home tonight. I'm going to fall apart. I'm going to buckle under the pressure. And with Rick, it was the same thing, dude. If you watch the video, you can see Rick's hat changes because the Skype froze up, the software froze up. So we had to restart. And then we started again. He changes his hat, and then it froze up again.
Wow.
And so I had to stop everything. And then once we got the Skype call and everything back up, we started talking again. Dude, I forgot to hit record.
Oh
man.
My
15 to 20 minutes of good conversation. I'm sitting there talking to him. We're having a good conversation. I look up and I notice that red light's not on.
Oh, that's bad.
You can almost see it in the interview. You just see this blank look on my face. I'm like, that's after realizing that I had just started recording. You just see this look of like, I'm an idiot. I am so mad right now.
We've all got horror stories. Trust me.
So
we had similar stories.
Yeah, so we had to edit it up, but nonetheless, it was a great interview with Rick. Rick is an awesome guy. He's a very passionate, very high energy guy, and it's nice to be able to get developers on. That's what we like to do that for, because, like I said, we're not developers, we're not media, we're not journalists, we don't know all this stuff. So the best way for us to tell our audience, and like you guys as well, when you get developers on, is to kind of like just give your audience an inside look at game development. It's not as, sometimes when you read or when you look at comments or when you do a podcast, people talk about games. It's always so as quick as like the you hear things like the dev is lazy, or they can afford this, they can afford that. It's when you bring these developers on that when you learn the information behind the scenes, and it's not as simple as a lot of gamers think it is. That's the biggest misconception, is that gamers think they understand what goes on with development. You don't know anything until you talk to a developer.
Talk about it. Say it again. That's what I'm talking about. It's so much that goes involved with it. And it's so much things as far, even with patching, stuff of that nature. Like, we were talking on, me and Ebontis, we do a Destiny kind of Flashpoint like deep dive, and people have no idea. It's like, hey, why don't they just change this? It's so simple.
Right.
You have to understand that sometimes just that one change affects so many other systems that are reliant on said change. So you have to be careful, and then these things have to be tested. And again, we're not trying to sit here and make excuses and woe is the developer, you know what I'm saying, all the time. But at the same time, people have to understand how difficult things are. It is not easy, and these guys put themselves on the front lines all the time to get blasted by the community and us, the fanboys. Why don't you? You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much it. That's cool, man. Cool history, like what you're doing out here. So we're gonna get into what the Lords have been playing. We already seen that Lord Attic, he already jumped into the bloodborne pain that he went through. But what actually
jumped out? I'm done.
They jumped out. So Lord, dude, what specifically have you been playing this week, Lord?
Man, just a lot of Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Woo!
That's
Henry.
I tell you what, man, that's a polarizing title right now. It's very divisive. There's a lot of people that are disappointed with it, and it's so difficult with games like this, because I understand why people are upset, and there are times where if I get a game and there are issues with it, I'm upset. But when the quality of the game, the story, when everything is there and you know what it can be, that can make it a little bit easier to swallow the pill of like, a bug here, a bug there. And I mean, I love Rick and I love Warhorse Studios, but there are some issues with this game.
Absolutely.
And nobody's denying that. I mean, but at the same time, when you hop in there and play this game, for myself, I enjoy the story. I love exploring the world. The combat is not easy, but once you do get the hang of it, and once you rank Henry up and he gets different abilities, different perks, it becomes very, very exciting, and you want to keep playing it. So I think that's a testament to the game. Despite its imperfections, I want to keep playing it, and that's what makes this game special in my mind, because it's almost there, and and it's extremely ambitious. This is a small,
very ambitious,
that's working on a set budget they got from Kickstarter. So I mean, when you look at the potential, just imagine what's going to happen to Warhorse when they get the back, when they make the money, and they can go on and make a proper big AAA game. I can't wait to see what these guys do next. I mean,
absolutely.
Project Red Part 2.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm with you, Lord, dude. I'm completely. I mean, it's so ambitious. I love the systems. I mean, this game, I was getting sleepy. The character, his eyes were flashing. I was like, "What's going on?" Then one time, I overate and I saw a little fat pig icon, like I'm playing this, and I'm like, "What? Yo, this game is crazy." It's just so many little things, and I was just running around, and I got dirty, and people didn't want to talk to me, and merchants didn't want to sell to me. It's just so much intricacy, just even down to the food. Like, you get hungry, and I had a whole bunch of food on me. I was trying to do like a long trek out, running around in the wilderness, and like I had to really check the food because some of the expiration on it was really low, and I should have had food that had, long expiration that they didn't spoil, because that would affect you as well. So it's like this deep, ultra realistic Skyrim with no magic, no dragons, just real combat, great story. I really like what they're doing. Now, is it them bugs? Yes. Is it some jank? Oh yeah, there's some jank.
The jank is in the building.
The jank is in the building. You know what I'm saying? But it's just so. I just feel graphic. Like I have it on Xbox One X and graphic. It really does look nice. Yeah, so I hear what you're going with that. So definitely, Kingdom Come Deliverance is on the list. I hear you. Lord Sov, what have you been playing this week?
Let me see. Well, on Xbox, I've been playing some Assassin's Creed Origins. Finally, almost cleared out the map. So now I'm finally like going through the story mode stuff. So I'm finally getting more of the story. Got to the point, where the beginning of the quote unquote assassins kind of happens and whatnot. Very cool, intriguing kind of story. So I'm excited to finish that this week. I was watching Mad Max Fury Road, and I said, I got to get back to Mad Max, man, because that is a very underappreciated game on this generation of consoles. Like, it's an open world. It's there's kind of not a lot to do in comparison to like a GTA or an Assassin's Creed even. But it's kind of supposed to be that way. It's like it's a barren wasteland, so they lean into that very well. The combat is like Arkham style combat. The game is really fantastic. It's kind of bland overall. Like, it's not a 10. It's like a 7.5, but it's a solid 7.5. So I got back into that for a bunch of hours, just cleaning out more of the map. And then on Switch, Bayonetta 1 and 2.
You picked them up.
Yeah,
Nice.
I got them both. So, man, those games run beautifully in handheld mode. Doc, like I mentioned it last week, it can get a little muddy, but still looks pretty good. But I still prefer to play them on handheld mode.
Gotcha.
And then I've been talking about this game for a month, man. But Celeste, man, that freaking Celeste. Yo, let me be clear. I suck at platformers. I've always sucked at platformers, whether it's lack of skill or lack of patience.
Oh no, Lord Kaibatsu got all your platforming juice.
Yeah, no, he got all of that.
Yeah, your brother got
it. And that's the thing, like living, growing up in a house with like a savant for those games like Kaibatsu is. Like, I'm like, oh man, I don't want to touch
Yeah, Kaibatsu will kind of crush your love for
he's demoralizing.
He demoralizes.
He's demoralizer. We Lord Kaibatsu the demoralizer. Like, he'll finish and you'll be like, I don't want to do it.
I'm done. So just playing that. But I tell you, like, that game, every stage has what they call a B-side, right? And the B-sides are like super, super hard. So I just got past as a part that you're in a hotel, right?
Oh, man.
So that's and to me, what I've heard, that's one of the most difficult parts of that game is the hotel, especially the B-side. And I got through it, and I was so happy. I didn't use any cheats, no nothing. I got through it. I was like, wow, man! I was really happy with myself. So it's just something about that game, man. Like, the way it brings you right back in after you die, it doesn't really let you have a chance to think about it. My fingers were in pain, but I loved it. I loved it. It's a $20 game. Get that game. Anybody who has a Switch, get that game.
I see someone in the comment section saying that game you guys are talking about is harder. Lockpick's harder than Bloodborne, Cuphead, and Dark Souls. Look, when it comes to
what is lockpick?
Lockpicking in Kingdom Come Deliverance.
That's a true RPG. Like, if anyone on those there, I would say Cuphead's the hardest one from those. Just because if you don't come in there and adapt, you just screwed. There's no leveling up. You're just screwed. At least the Bloodborne and Dark Souls and Deliverance, like, if you start getting owned, it's like, oh well, I got to go do some other stuff before I come back. On Cuphead, if the devil killing you, the devil's just gonna keep killing you.
So you didn't pick up Celeste on the Switch?
Attic? I haven't been touching this Switch lately, I don't think.
Nah, he ain't sold his Switch.
To be honest with you, I don't even know. No, I didn't sell it, but I have no clue where it's at.
Oh, I thought his Switch was on the market. I swear, I thought he put his Switch on the black market.
I have no clue where it's at.
If and when you find it, get Celeste, because I'm interested to see how.
Please,
is Celeste on Xbox?
There we go. Tell a story.
There you go.
Tell a story. Tell a story. Tell a story in a 4K glory. Tell a story.
4K pixel art.
I don't care. It's 4K. Hello.
Look, I don't.
Lord Addict.
I don't have the time I used to with the Switch.
I feel.
Like my job, I can't sit on the Switch anymore. So,
because I thought that when you would start this new job, that you would be able to bring the Switch and on your break could do something.
No, I can, but like my break's 15 minutes. What I'm gonna do?
You ain't playing that Switch, man. It's over.
No, don't get me wrong. Like during like the middle of the month where I work, it's like mad slow, but I keep forgetting to pack it.
Bro, you like the Switch. I'm mad.
You don't even know where it's at. You lost a child. So that means that it's your least favorite child.
No,
but what you did say was, isn't it on Xbox?
I got a PS4 too. So
yeah, it is. But you did say, isn't it on my favorite child?
Hey, to be fair with you, I lost the littlest one, okay? So
yeah, I know. He's wandering in the market, dirty and alone.
Someone just snatched that kid out of the crib when I wasn't looking.
Clearly, you're negligent and not looking for your child.
Exactly. He's like, whatever. Well, I lost Timmy.
So, Lord, here you go. Shout out to Celeste. I'm actually scared of that game. I saw Lord Rand.
Don't be scared, dude. That game's incredible. Lord Sovereign's right, dude. I played that on the Switch. I've been to the Summit.
Yeah,
it's a fantastic game. Everything about that game is awesome. Gameplay is tight. The music is exceptional. The story is actually very, very good. Celeste is probably my favorite game this year. It's that good.
That's what Rand is saying. Now Lord dude with the confirmation. Like everyone's raving about it. I gotta check it out. I'm working on Overblade, but we're gonna get into Lord King what he's playing. I know them dinners been going down. What's going on?
Oh man, you know what? I listen to you guys, and I'm sitting here like, who are you people? Right? I really listen. Like he's like, yeah, I was playing such and such, and I had a chance to touch such and such, and I had a chance to touch such and such. I don't have a chance to touch nothing. I'm getting texts, I'm getting tweeted, I'm getting DM'd, and my phone is ringing. They like, yo, where's this PUBG gameplay at, bro? Where are you at in the PUBG streets? Yeah. Like. Shout out to Punch, shout out to Brap, shout out to Vogel, shout out to Hot Monkeys, shout out to the whole squad. It's got to the point, shout out to Def. It got to the point that we're running 2 to 3 teams in one chat playing different games with one man out. If
rotating in, rotating out.
Yeah, but see, they wait. They wait for you to say something like, I'll be right back, I gotta go to the store. Or, oh man, I just logged out. Something happened to my system. Oh well, Vogel jumped right in, punched, lagged out, and Vogel jumped in. It's like, let's go. We're about to smoke. And shout out to Bostonian last night. I was teaching them techniques. See, in PUBG, there's 3 techniques, right? And the technique is rock. That's when you land, you grab a car, and you shoot to the middle of the board, and you hunker down, loot there in the center where you think the board is going to shrink at.
Like that strategy. That's the strategy.
Right. That's called rock. Then there's paper. Paper is where you land, you loot, and you come in slowly as a circle comes in. That is traditionally the most common. Right? Your team is coming in.
Who the hell came up with these names?
This one is called Scissor. Scissor is
clearly. I had a feeling what the third one was going to be the way we were going.
Yeah, exactly. Rock, paper, scissor. But Scissor is the most aggressive because you work in teams of 2. Well, first team drops in the beginning of the board, second team drops at the end of the board, and you work your way in a pincer-like technique coming in so you can get the enemies in a kill box if you all can make it to the middle. With that technique, you got to have severe patience because if an enemy run past you, don't engage. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get them all in that trajectory where they're paying attention to what's going on over here. And not understanding that you have another team that's behind them.
Gotcha. So you get them to kind of beef with themselves,
right?
Like you pick them off.
so what we're talking about now is like I talked with you, Lord Cognito. I've been playing this game so much that I'm just gonna start streaming it because the conversations that we have are ridiculous. Now I want y'all to understand. there's two different types of King David. Okay. Now, the first type of King David.
Have we confirmed that you have a split personality?
Oh yes. Severe bipolar, a separatist brain, whatever you want to call it. This dude is actually two entities in one. It's David Banner and there's the Hulk. Right? So David Banner is what you get here. Hi, hello guys. This is what
the PG version of Lord King.
Yeah, this is what I can give my children to talk to about with their friends in school because they listen to the podcast at lunch. And then there's me. Okay, that's the guy that is saying those words that can't be repeated here, that is getting those chicken dinners with his squad, and that's yelling out, there's Nigerians in the room, if you understand what I'm saying.
Oh, wow.
Okay? So I want you to understand, when you see the stream, please don't report us, because they have nothing to do with it. It's just me.
Basically, you got your disclaimer.
Exactly. I saw PUBG on my cell phone. Did you see it? It's coming out.
Yeah, I did see
it. It looks amazing. Shout out to the Razer phone. I don't know. I might have to switch allegiances, to this phone because that Razer phone looks like it's the best gaming cell phone I've ever seen. It beats the iPhone. It beats the Samsung. That Razer phone looks great. I saw PUBG in a stripped down version on a cell phone. I'm sitting here like I need that in my soul while I'm at work.
Yes, and we're gonna get into that. I got some discussion about that. No doubt. So for
look
me,
at this. So look.
Okay,
I found it, so you guys can leave me alone.
It's
found the Switch. Wow,
yeah.
I found the Switch.
Wow,
it's right here.
Better parenting, man. That's better parenting. I like.
No,
that.
he was malnutritioned in the corner.
Actually, to be honest with you,
I'm like, when you go to work, so we can talk about stuff.
No, it's always in that bag. But to be, in the bag. Okay,
in the bag.
In the bag.
What I was referring to is there might be an issue. I think I might have to look around this house for the charger.
Oh my
I have no clue where that is.
Moving along, so
power.
Yeah, pretty much for me, it's been Lord Dude. It's been a Kingdom Come Deliverance. I've been getting into that. I thought I was making a dent, and come to find out, I'm really still early in the game. After that 8-hour tutorial, that I thought that I was doing something,
There's
and then
an 8-hour tutorial.
Addict, I've been playing for 8 hours. Thought I was doing something.
Go ahead and get my list and check that shit off my game list.
Language before Anchorman gets in here. But so I thought I was doing some work on it, and then literally I got to a point, and it's like the credits come up, and I'm like,
oh my God,
like an intro to a movie, and I'm like,
what?
Anything significant I did in the game yet? So yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance is a soul stealer. There's no doubt about it. On the go, I've been doing I actually got back into Wolverblade. I was stuck at a couple of points because I've been playing solo, obviously, and I actually beat a boss that was giving me a lot of trouble. So I'm trying to get that done. And shout out to Lord Sinister. He harassed me for weeks and weeks and telling me now about this Fortnite update. He knows I'm a PUBG guy, but we did play Fortnite 60 frames per second on the X. Wow, it looks fantastic, y'all. I can't even front. I'm not a Fortnite guy. I am more a PUBG guy, but I cannot front on that update to what they're doing to that engine. It looks spectacular. So we did that, and we also did Sea of Thieves stress test. Shout out to Lord Valakon. We had actually Addict. We was in there, and shout out to Big Bad John. We had a little captain. People were threatening each other. Who's the captain now? And
No, there was no threatening. There was Sinister thought he was the captain, but he wasn't.
Well, you decided to take the boat on a voyage without your crew.
And that's what a captain does.
And that's when the problem started. Then someone damaged the boat. We didn't know where the water was leaking in, so we sunk it. But once we got our little issues out the way, we did find the treasures on the map and stuff that we were working on. So we had a little fun with that. So it was pretty much fun. But anyway, we're going to get into the show. We had a poll last week. The results are in. The people have spoken to the question: with the successful release of remakes and remasters like Shadow of Colossus and Last of Us 2, should these type of titles warrant a re-review? The winner at 39% and our closest and most competitive three-way ILP poll was the no. Only discuss the enhancements of the remakes and remasters group. coming in at a razor close. Second place at 35% was the yes, review the remakes and remasters a second time based on their merit. And coming in at third place at 26% was the I don't care, they're all cash grabs anyway group.
Oh, yeah.
So what did Lord think about Lord do? What do you think about this whole re-reviewing of remasters?
You know, I love the idea of remasters. Okay, I love the idea. It allows people who might have missed it to play it in an updated form. Obviously, it's a different game than what originally came out. It's remastered, so it's a much different game. So I do think those deserve reviews, but I don't think it deserves to replace the previous review.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Fair enough. I expect any Lords got anything else on it.
I think it needs to be reviewed on a concept of like what's new, not reviewing the game as a whole again.
As a whole, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you guys are good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like okay, the stupid Turok thing that's coming out.
That's just up res. Like it's up res Turok 2. I picked it up on Steam. I picked it up on Steam when it came out to see what it was, right? And it's essentially like it's just a prettied up N64 version of the game, with dual analog controls. Like, if you have nostalgia for that, sure, but it's not. I mean, the game itself is the same.
It should be a $4 game, and I'm so sick and tired of this stuff that's going on. I mean, because you know what it is? You have real good people, labors of love. People really do labors of love. Yeah. And I'm not saying, that wasn't worked on hard or whatever. I don't care, really, be honest with you. And maybe, like Sovereign said, is, the nostalgia part. They're reaching for that crowd. All right. Well, you know what? Get back to that crowd, too. Drop the price down to $4, what would be the equivalent of what is worth, and put the game out, or join Game Pass and throw it in there for free. Because I'm gonna tell you something. I saw the game. I saw people raging, talking about, "Oh my God, Turok is coming!" And I was like, "Oh, I gotta see this. I gotta see." I saw the trailer. I said, "Okay, this is the comparison video. They're gonna show you the old graphics, and then they're gonna show you the new graphics." And I'm like, I sat there and watched. I said, "Oh, so it's just a comparison for the old graphics, but they didn't tell you about the new graphic." And I tweeted out, "Where's the new graphic?" And I said, "Okay, $4."
So keep in mind that developers like Rockstar have gave us a game for the exact same price they did it 2 years ago and put first-person mode in it. Look, it's worth it.
I know, right?
You're savage. Oh my God. So we got a new poll cooking up at the end of the show. We got a lot of times we're gonna try to power through. We got some stuff going on right now. I'm gonna set it off hot off the presses. Speculation and rumors going on. And it just brought to my attention, actually. Shout out to MBG, because he put a video up first. He's one of the first on this, and I want to get him on the show. I know he doesn't do podcasts often, but yeah, man, he was the first to kind of actually comment on one of these things, as well as actually correct me if I'm wrong. I gotta say it's not Jez Gordon from Windows Central, and we saw this as well. And then there was some cryptic tweets going on, and I'm gonna share this on the screen. Let me know if you guys can see, if the Lords can see this. Anybody see? Okay. So we saw this on the SEGA official site and of Japan, and we just seen this little Microsoft logo going on over here. And I had my Google Japanese translator. I was talking to Lord Dude, and I was like, "What is going on here?" So I just scroll down, and then you just see SEGA Japan, gorgeous Seattle office. This is the real Microsoft office. More pictures going on. You're seeing Sonics next to Xbox Ones and cozy Microsoft office. What is going on here? Now, we do know that obviously, Microsoft had the ability to purchase them in the past that never fell through with Sega. But we also heard rumors just recently, right, that that Microsoft's trying to make some big acquisitions or some big partnerships. But I also want to give credit where credit is due, and I want to shout out Lord Cal, because Lord Cal from Tech Podcast, our guy, You know what I'm saying? Last Son of Planet Xbox. He was the first. He put this up last year. And he got like a press release, from Sega about stepping down to COO in Europe and the partnerships that they were going to work on. And look who was on the list. Now, this was May of 2017, and I just want to bring this to the Lords. Again, this is all speculation, right? We don't have any clues as to what's going on, but when we see images like this, it leads me to believe, okay, what's going on here? So, what do Lords think? Let's start with Lord Do. Do we think something is possibly imminent between Microsoft and Sega? What do you think?
Man, I mean, I want to believe that this is just, Sega's out on a trip to Seattle to see what's going on, but there's just too much in these pictures. There's a lot of stuff. Like if you scroll down to the one, you got Sonic standing next to an Xbox One. I mean, that's just like, really? And, and then if you scroll down to the next two photos, the one on the right,
yes,
on that one if you can. And if you zoom in on that, the reflection on the 360, you can see Sonic is sitting on something there. Like it's like they wanted to just make sure they could get Sonic in the background. Yeah. See, he's right there, right there, Sonic. Somebody's playing a game, and there's Sonic. So I want to say it'd be cool if that's something cryptic, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But this is just very strange to see these pictures just pop up, and there's not a whole lot of details to like the captions to these photos. And what's on the screen? What are they playing there?
I don't know. I mean, look, I think a little Sonic Mania and stuff like that.
Is that Sonic Mania? Okay.
Kind of thing I think was mentioned. It is just very cryptic messaging going on. Lord Soft, we Sega kids, man. What do you think is going on here?
I mean, going back to your point about how they had the opportunity to purchase them years ago and it didn't happen. I mean, there was talks about Xbox being compatible with Dreamcast 2 and whatever that was going to be. Like there's been a love affair between Sega and Microsoft to a certain extent for years. So honestly, I don't know what to expect from this, because the thing is, when we talked about potential purchases for them a while back, Sega never came up. And Sega is, I mean, again, part of Xbox's DNA comes from the fallout of Sega and the Dreamcast. Like that's where that came from. So
Peter Moore, the whole connection with him is with them as well too. Remember?
Exactly. So the former head of Sega going over to Xbox. So to me, who knows if there's something in the works for them to purchase Sega. At the same time, like Sonic, they're one IP that's really, really hitting it out of the park. That, well, in one aspect was Sonic Mania last year, which Sonic Mania did well all across the board. Besides that, like, Generations or whatever, the one that came out afterwards didn't do so well. It went back to that crappy formula, 3D formula that people have not been happy with. And then also, like, all the Bayonetta love on Nintendo now, I don't really know what to think about that. So it could be some IP.
That's platinum game.
But it is Sega published. It's a Sega property, so I don't know. I don't really know what to think about it. It could be some IP. It could be one IP in particular. Who knows? But I mean, knowing Microsoft, I mean, and they're talking big.
The thing is, if it comes to something like that, let's say they started negotiations, I guarantee the Bayonetta 3 and stuff was way before this negotiation.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, again, it could be that they're looking to buy the whole thing. It's going to be interesting. I mean, all the pictures are very cryptic. You have no idea what it actually means, and it could be very small or it could be huge. So, hopefully we find out something concrete soon.
Lord Addict, Lord King, I need y'all in on this. What y'all think?
I'll let Lord Addict go in because, he put in a hell of a lot of work. I'll actually watch his streams on the low. I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna let you know that I watch his streams on the low. I was watching that blood going on the low, and I was sitting there like, "Go ahead, dude. That's my dude." And I'm pointing it out to people around. That's my dude right there, playing that right there. You saw what he did? That's my dude right there. I actually know that dude. That's my dude right there. And they're like, "Yo, let me see." Yeah, you don't know him, and I saw him a picture of you. They're like, "Yo, you look like you get busy." And
all right, you went a little bit too far with that.
I got pictures of you, baby. You know I got pictures of you. Oh, you front. I got pictures, baby. I got photographs the world may never see.
Oh my God. Your opinion on this whole Sega Microsoft cryptic rumors, pictures? Where you at with this?
I mean, if they were to get Sega, what's the number one thing you think they would pick up with Sega?
Well, you know the number one thing I want.
Because I mean, if you guys are referring to, if people are excited about Sonic, when's the last good Sonic we had?
Exactly. It's not Sonic. Sonic is
why
not
do people
that.
care about Sega?
Fantasy Star.
Well, you got Fantasy
Shut the young boy
Star.
down right now.
Panzer
I'm gonna have
Dragon.
to jump in right now. We're gonna have to discipline him because he
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 doesn't understand.
loose right now
Jet
with his
Set Radio.
restriction.
When's the last
great-
time Fantasy Star was relevant?
Bro,
Right.
you
Make it
ain't
relevant
not
again.
gonna jump on this program and besmirch the great name of Sega. I'm not gonna allow it. Not on my watch.
That's right. You
All
defend
I'm
that.
saying- All jokes aside,
You have to
all I'm
click
saying is
your
all
actual
the
name.
IPs that they do own that could be in-house now. The possibility, if there was this big partnership going on, that's a lot of IPs that can get reimagined. Also, we do know obviously the Shenmue thing. I don't know how that plays in. No Deep Silver goes in. Panzer Drag. There's a ton of IPs that Sega have that just been kind of, we'll say dormant. That just no one's been doing anything with, right? So it just, to me, again, this is all speculation. This is if these rumors, if there's any truth to them, it would embolden and just give Microsoft a great in-house first-party kind of lineup. If that is the case, you know what I mean? So, and stay tuned for the poll at the end of the show because we're gonna touch on this again. But I'm excited. I mean, we did hear rumors of this stuff before. I definitely want to shout out Cal because he put this out there. That Microsoft was on the partnership list. So there is some truth to what may be happening behind the scenes, and if that is the case, that is tremendous. I think that's a great. Because we all know that's the pro. You can yawn all you like. But like I said, at the end of the day, everyone complains that Microsoft does not have the first party that Sony has, right? And they don't have these, in-house things. They always have to kind of buy like a PUBG and stuff like that. And if you get these games, these franchises that are beloved, you know what I mean? Could you imagine a Fantasy Star online? Like, I'll get Dreamcast guy on the show. Like, people are going crazy at just the thought of this stuff on Twitter. But I'm going to bring it back over to Lord King. What did you feel when you saw all this stuff?
I told y'all before exactly what the whole dynamic between Sega and Microsoft was. I told you Microsoft is the baby we never wanted. Sega was the child that was stillborn that we wanted, and it died. So Microsoft just inherited. It was a strong baby. No, Microsoft is a strong baby. The baby that you was like, oh wow, that little runt. Look at that thing. I don't even know if it's gonna make it. And it pushed and it pushed and it pushed and it pushed. The only way for Microsoft to really endear itself to that crowd that keeps wishing for Sega, is to eat it. Acquire Sega. Get every last title that Sega has. And those people are going to look over at Microsoft and said, I love you. I love you. Crazy Taxi in 4K. Panzer Dragoon. Fantasy Star. I mean, Skies of Arcadia. It did this.
It's
a couple of titles that Microsoft can just
over there that doesn't know what
rip open. It's not that he doesn't know. He's telling you that they're irrelevant in Sega's hands. They're irrelevant. So in Microsoft hands, where it's cash flush situation and they need this. Okay, this is gonna go into your topic, all right? And the topic that you have coming up later, as far as Microsoft and the streaming stuff and the Game Pass, that's putting people on edge. That's putting people like these dudes. People know they're talking. They're trying to make huge acquisitions to push this Game Pass thing so far into your face that if you have an Xbox Live subscription, you damn sure got a Game Pass subscription. They're trying to have that one-on-one parity with it so that if you got 30 million Xbox One Live subscriptions and you got 30 million Game Pass subscriptions, Microsoft is trying to fatten the wallet. So it's going to happen. We need the games. Everybody keeps talking about where's the games. They're going to get the games. And if you buy Sega, all those Sega fans, they're coming.
That'd be huge.
They're coming.
It would be very interesting. Again, like I said, it's all speculation. There's nothing final, but like me and Lord Dude said, it's just kind of interesting the nature of cryptic tweets, and we've seen companies do kind of stuff like this in the past when they want to kind of preview an announcement.
That's letting you know. That's when you really can't hold it back. It's letting you know, man.
And it's cool that I actually like the fact that it's actually Sega of Japan, because that was also, another criticism of Microsoft. They can't get, the Japanese.
Someone did not say the next crazy taxi called Crazy Uber.
No, shout out to
Crazy Lyft.
Space Harrier, Alton, please outrush and talk that talk, Monkey Punch. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? But like it just, like I said, that's always been like the Achilles heel that they can't do anything in Japan. They can't.
Here's the question, though.
Crack over there, and I think that's cool. What's the question, Lord?
Can Sega games come into this next generation of gaming and still be successful like they were 10, 15 years ago?
That's a poll question.
That's a poll question. We might have to add that for this a two-part poll question because I got a good one too. So it's gonna be interesting. So that's what we got right now on the speculation.
Jay, they bought them all. That's the whole point of
this. We got Kratos in the chat. He said, "What happened to Microsoft buying EA, Valve, and PUBG?" I don't know what happened, but I'll take Sega.
I'll take Sega in a heartbeat.
Look, Kratos is the man. I love him. He's
Kratos. Remember, I
love it.
Kratos. The fear is real.
I'm gonna get y'all two in the room. Y'all two the troll masters. Oh my god, y'all literally the opposite of each other. It's so funny.
Yeah. It's it. It's down here, Kratos. It's down here.
We're gonna be Kratos, definitely.
We all float down here.
You're hilarious. So we're gonna move on. I'm gonna pass it to my brother from another mother, Lord Addict. We are both huge State of Decay fans. What is going on?
Well, apparently the game's been priced for $25 in UK. So I think the release date's about to get announced in UK. They messed up and put the price before the date. So there's a good chance it's going to be 25 all worldwide. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think that now since we went from 60 to 25, we expect a $25 game and not a 60?
Woo! Good question, Lord Dude. I need you in on this, man. What do you think?
Man, this is really strange. Like you guys mentioned before, there's no talk about this from Microsoft, and maybe some of these retailers in the UK have jumped the gun here. But in the US currently, all the retailers show $59.99, and this is supposed to be a big sequel to State of Decay, the first one. So this is a full-on game. And to have it listed at 25 pounds in the UK right now is...
I apologize. I got to interrupt you. It is... I forgot the currency exchange. Apologize. Pounds. Excuse me.
Lord Sam, but the editor is correcting us.
USA.
The editor is in the chat. You have to bend the knee.
There it is. Sam is going to let you know.
Sam is our editor. Like, Sam will correct us. Like, nope, Lord Kanye doesn't correct. This is what it is. We got the editor on the scene. I love it. Yes, thank you so much. But no, so basically it's like around $40. Basically,
like $39.99.
Like almost like $39.99. So back to you, Lord. Do you have concerns about that? Like where you at with that?
Well, I played the first State of Decay. I told you I picked it up when it came out to Xbox One because I'm like, hey, zombies, I'll play this. I'll give it a try. And it's just something I didn't get into because of the lack of co-op. That's something I really wanted to play in that game. But and at the same time, I didn't think it aged very well. I didn't think it looked very good on the the Xbox One compared to some of the other games I'd already played. True. And the management system wasn't quite didn't resonate well with me. So I ended up taking it back. But to see if there's a price drop, this puts it in line at $40 US. That's sort of similar to what we saw with Recore.
Right.
I thought Recore was a decent game up until about midway when it kind of lost its way. But it's been, they've done what they had to do to repair it and to get it to, make a little bit more sense after the halfway point. But to see this, if this launches at $40, I mean, I don't see there's anything wrong with it. I'm not going to assume the worst. I mean, this is a big title. They've been promoting this.
Absolutely.
But we never want to see a game fail, and we should never ever look at a price as an indication of a game in trouble. But
at the end of the day, people could say what they want. look, if it's 40, your expectations had to be $40 price tag, not it. So you can't compare a $40 game to a 60. You can't compare a $20 game to a 60. Like, you do have to have some kind of adjustments there.
All right, can I jump in for devil's advocate purpose? Here's the thing, Lord, you're right. I mean, you can't look at something, and Lord Attic, you're right as well. Like, you can't look at something face value and just say, oh, because it's this, it's ultimately, you know, you reflect badly on the quality of the game.
The optics, though.
Right. Go ahead, Saul. So I'm gonna let you jump because you know where I'm going with this.
The optics of it don't look good. They've been touting this game. State of Decay 1 was something of a small miracle on the 360. It had a huge following, but still kind of under the radar. Since they announced State of Decay 2, the talk around it has been, this is a full-fledged AAA title. We are taking the concept of State of Decay 2 and blowing it out, giving you full co-op multiplayer. I think 4-player multiplayer. So it's a much bigger undertaking than the first one. So by a $40 price point coming out before the game is even the release date of the game has even been announced, we haven't seen any live gameplay of it. Like, for the most part, I think some people saw some stuff behind the scenes. Yeah, behind the scenes at E3. So we still really don't know what the game is in someone's hands, how it feels. So it's a little bit concerning that again, and there's a lot of other things to think about when it comes to this. With the whole, when you look at it being Europe so far, we're not seeing anything from the US end of it. Like Europe, as you know, as we saw with the whole backlash on Game Pass, with some of the stores over there feeling that, well, you know, Xbox doesn't do well over here as it is. Why should we support this when you're taking money out of our hands? So it can also be seen as a backlash from UK retailers saying, you know what, we're dropping the price of this. So
damn it, Salvin, you stealing my point.
I'll stop right there and let you
No, keep it. I mean, because basically, you know, me and you this year has been like I said, it's been Attic and King, and then it's just me and you on the same wavelengths. We've been Lords have been on two opposite wavelengths this year. But finish and I'll jump in.
I just think if we don't see anything respond in kind on the US side of it, then it's something to be worried about on the retailer side. Like, it's them feeling like they're attacking the bully, you know. So we'll see what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm kind of the same mindset. You know, I'm not gonna go crazy. Is just like you said, from an optics perspective, it was presented as if, like, let's be honest, State of Decay 1 was like this indie labor of love kind of game, right? It was like a hardcore, you know, no one expected much of it. You know, we jumped on it and we're like, wow, tremendous depth. You know, it's way bigger than just a simple game, you know, and there's a lot of complexities to it. So then when they announced part 2, they announced the 4-player co-op, they announced the scope, bigger, better, yada, yada, yada. You know, in my opinion, was kind of like marketed as this AAA big budget kind of a deal. Like, we're going all in, you know, we're putting, you know, the Microsoft's back and behind it. So when I see the $40 or, you know, equivalent in UK price drop, my eyebrows raised slightly, only from the standpoint of value proposition, right? Because my thing is, if you feel that this is packed in with a ton of content, like, why do you say to yourself, okay, we're going to bring the price down, right? If you're confident in what's in the content, then you, in my opinion, it's like, okay, then you should stick behind the 60. Now, the only other thing I was thinking about, just to say, okay, well, what else could it be? What possibly else could it be? The only thing else I was thinking about was like, well, like what Losov kind of hinted to, which is, you know, maybe because this is the UK only so far, right? You know, maybe this is their way of retaliating against Game Pass. And we know that, you know, State of Decay 2 is a Game Pass game, right? We know that, you know, there was initial backlash. I guess it was just one Austrian retailer. But, you know, let's be honest. You know, there's a lot of retailers that are concerned with Microsoft's digital push into this new era. You know what I'm saying? So maybe this is their way of saying, okay, for the first party titles, you got to let us drop this bad boy down since you've given this thing away in game. You know what I'm saying? Again, just all this is speculation. I'm literally just speculating, that kind of thing. But I just thought it was interesting. I was just a little concerned. I mean, I love State of Decay. Addict knows, like, we are State of Decay guys. You know what I'm saying? And again, I just want to see more on it. I hope that there's no lesser content. I hope there's, that everything is on schedule and ready to see. But that's what I got on it. But Lord King, what do you make of all of this? Now this news is coming out.
I thought that was supposed to be good news. Price drop? Like, I've never heard, Halo 5 is coming out. It used to be $59.99. Now it's $25.99. Oh man, what's going on with Halo? Like,
raise your eyebrow a little
I don't raise my eyebrow because listen, I'm getting it for free over here in Game Pass, right? Okay. So maybe Microsoft said, for those dudes that don't got Game Pass, we're gonna drop that down to this price right here so you can get the equivalent. But if you really want to get it for that low, jump over here for Game Pass and check it out.
There is a good point that from now on, all their games are going to be $39.99.
That'd be insane.
They want to balance out that Game Pass with the price.
The same thing. Let's be clear. That's what I said. I said the only thing I could come up with is this is the retailer, retaliation.
Not even the real. I think. Let's say it's Microsoft. Let's say Microsoft said
42.
Yes.
Right. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So let's say Microsoft themselves said, you know what? For us to compete, we have to show value. We have to show commitment. And this is part of that whole value commitment thing. Yeah. Like, our prime games, our top choice games, you don't have to pay. That's remember when I said they announced the date for God of War.
Yeah.
It was like April 20th. I said, so what? We know it was coming out. Who cares? You didn't say anything special like a price drop. You didn't say $49.99 God of War. Would you feel devalued if they said God of War was $29.99? No, you'd be like, well, let me go pre-order that now to lock in that price.
Because they think State of Decay is in a $60 game. Maybe this is their answer to competing with third-party titles.
Yeah, the thing is with Microsoft that the perception with Microsoft being in second place, right, is that they have to do things to appeal more to the consumer. Like if Sony drops the price on God of War, it's because they feel like it, not because they have to.
Exactly.
Right? So the perception is different. Like the perception is different. You wouldn't think God of War is in trouble, but coming from Microsoft, the position they're in, feeling is like, okay, what else can you give me to make me come over to you?
And in combination with the fact that, and again, shout out to MBG, he's got a great video out right now. I was going back and forth with him this morning. Is the perception also, let's be honest, we have not heard a peep out of State of Decay. So there's some nervousness. I mean, from a Microsoft standpoint, right? Let's be honest, right? We went through the Scalebound drama, right? We saw the Crackdown fiasco.
But we saw the Scalebound though, and we all said the same things when we saw it. It didn't look good.
I'm talking about me because we had the inside look. We was there. We had our noses in the air, like, oh no.
I was like, oh no, they need to work on that. We
saw the Crackdown. You know what I'm saying? And at certain events behind closed doors, and we were like, oh no. Right? No. So we had the inside. State of Decay has been so.
I knew something was wrong the moment it wasn't an E3.
Right. Me and Addict were like, why they keep showing us this trailer? Where's the game? How come there's no kiosk? What's going on? Right. So again, from a Microsoft standpoint, we have to be concerned a little bit that they were so tight-lipped about it. So we just want to make sure that everything's okay. You want to make sure the baby's is being born. There's not complications in the birth.
Just go out and lock in that price. If that price sounds good to you, it could be a flub. Go pre-order your flub price now. Before they say, oh, my bad, I didn't mean that, 59. Are you happy now that's 59? Did you feel good? Like, it literally makes absolutely no sense. In this day and age, are you trying to pinch a dollar and you're complaining that I think that 29 means it's bad? Then pay 59 for it. Go in there and double up and give a game away to somebody.
See, the problem with that is that if the game comes out and it's middling or mediocre, all of the narrative around it is going to focus on that price and why they dropped that price.
Exactly.
Yeah, Sovereign. You know why I really don't give two umps about this part right here? I used to play Vet Track. I used to play Vet Tracks. All right, so my level of tolerance for games is totally different than this new crowd.
Shout out to Sam Tolbert. He's saying the U.S. retailers are still saying 60, which is true.
Also, pay for it in the U.S. Go ahead, guys.
A lot of people are also making good points. I want to shout out Abacab. I want to shout out Fastback. They're making good points. Like, did we feel the same way when Hellblade was $40? Was there any smoke up in the air for that?
Hellblade didn't have a prequel though.
That is true.
And you got to consider State of Decay was only 20.
And if Kratos in the chat go hard, he said because the PlayStation games are $80 worthy. I'm done. He go hard. Yes,
yeah, but Hellblade was always talked about as a game that was being made on a small budget, and it was from a small the way they talked about that game wasn't that it was supposed to be a AAA extravaganza type game. So
to be honest with you, when have they ever made you think that this is going to be a AAA game?
That's what I'm trying to say.
They talked about it when they talked about what they were doing. Even the head of Undead Labs has said it. Like he said, this is a vastly improved. This is not what you think it is. So
if you had a hot turd the first time, right, and they said we're going to remove the stink off the turd, it's vastly improved. So
hold on.
Get it.
When they made Escapists and they said, well, we're going to have character development, we're going to have twice as many escapable prisons. Does that mean it's a AAA title? You can't just because they have better thought press as to what they want to do with the game, it automatically makes it a AAA title.
But it's fair. But it's fair if the guy in charge is saying it. Like if I'm making it up on my own accord, like I think this is bigger and better.
What are you expecting to say? We're doing the exact same stuff.
but like Lord Saul favorite word, the optics. I like when he says that. The optics are like, they're marketing it like it's a AAA. Like it's on, like when you see the marketing, it's on the same level as the Crackdowns, and it's not in the corner like it's like a.
They're marketing Sea of Thieves, and it's a $40 title.
Yeah, and another thing too is that again, like we reiterated, we just want to learn more about it, and like I said, Undead has just been a little tight-lipped, so just interesting. I'm gonna let the dude close out the top before we move on. Are we over worrying? Are we panicking too much, Lord dude?
Two things I want to mention to you guys. I want to get your thoughts on the second one specifically, but the first one is, Fastback mentioned it, Hellblade. I think this gen, it's a lot different when you see these quote unquote budget titles. Last gen, when you got a budget title, some of those games you were like, man, this thing's still overpriced. But now this gen, I mean, even before Hellblade, I would argue that Sniper Elite 3, when that came out, and I think it was late 2014, early 2015, that game was a budget title. But man, I thought that game was awesome. It had a big campaign, it had co-op, it had multiplayer, and I thought it was a well done game. So I think we've kind of gotten past the whole cheap price means cheap game, especially with Hellblade. That game was fantastic. But now the other thing I want to go back to just really quick, you guys mentioned about maybe who's responsible for the price drop in the UK. Is it retailers or is it Microsoft? Would you guys say that Game Pass is something that Microsoft is really, really pushing? Like they really want their user base to get on board?
Absolutely.
That would tell me, why would Microsoft lower the price of retail games if they're trying to get people to go to Game Pass? I'm going to say that's more retailer. If that is the case, if this is something that's really happening, I'm going to go more retailer, because it would be contradicting Microsoft if they were to say, hey, look, we want to push Game Pass, but hey, let's knock down the retail versions.
Well, now let me ask you this, Lord. What if the retailers are on the UK side, European side, are giving pushback? What it is? Because remember, we did see that. Even though it was one Austrian retailer, he removed all Xbox games from shelves. He was like, you guys are not catering to us. Now, granted, he was like a mom and pops. He wasn't like Game over there. You know what I'm saying?
Got his name already.
You know, he put his name out on his little store. He was the crazy sounds of Austria.
No, he wasn't. He was the tiki torch dude on the corner that was trying to get light for his store because he had to pay that rent. All right, your 5 seconds of fame is up. We're not even gonna waste conversation on you guy over there.
We can't spit a verse at him right now.
Nope. His 5 seconds is up. You didn't sell. I bet you he's still selling Microsoft stuff now. I bet you that.
Oh, yeah.
I bet you walk inside the store, you could get State of Decay on pre-order.
You gonna see my face.
You gonna walk in and be like, "Yo, where can I get that?" You go into a room that's green.
I know, right? He got a whole special room. I was just playing around.
You funny. The question I'm going to do is, what if this is the pushback? What do you think?
I think bad it is pushback.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was pushback because, like I said, we've seen the hype that this Game Pass announcement has generated. I mean, there's a lot of excitement. I'm getting Game Pass. I mean, I heard about it. I was like, oh yeah, this is a no brainer, and so you look at these retailers, and they're gonna be like, hey man, this is gonna cut into our sales, and so I would not be surprised whatsoever if this is just the start of it. I mean, when we get closer to Game Pass and when Sea of Thieves comes out and that thing starts selling crazy, Game Pass goes up, retail sales go down. I won't be surprised at all if you see retailers start making more moves over here in the U.S. It might not be on the sites right now, but then again, you guys, this could, like you guys mentioned, somebody hit the wrong button over in the UK. and by 4 o'clock, it's going to go back to normal.
They better lock it in now.
Right, exactly.
The UK better jump on it.
You got to guarantee that price that I saw on the PC. I'm sorry.
We'll probably know by the end of the week. So whether we're wrong or we'll probably know by the end of this week what it is or what it isn't. So, I mean, to his second point, to dude's second point about whether it's pushback or not. I remember, I think it's Matt Piscatella who said something about how it's shown that Game Pass up until this point has generated more sales for individual games on their own, whether they be at launch or whether they be a year after launch, because people having access to the game, whether they stick to the service or not, once they have access to it for a little while, if they like the game and the price point is right for buying the game digitally or whatever in the store, they'll just go out. Numbers have shown that they'll go out and purchase the game regardless. Right. So it could be it could be pushback from these retailers to say, you know what, now we're gonna beat you to the punch, and drop the price in your game, and then you deal with the fallout of that. Or
here's the thing, Lord Sam. Again, he's saying if this is retailer pushback, he said that they're dumb. He said they're getting a smaller cut if they sell the game for a more amount.
And that's the thing, because we don't know how much they're getting the games for.
Cut. Because Microsoft's not going to take less because they want to sell it for less. They're going to take more their initial budget, and they're going to have to take less than they normally would get.
So what they're earning, what they're earning on the game is going to be less. Yeah, whatever they pay Microsoft for the game is whatever it is, right?
Yeah, and they got to pay the MSRP difference to Microsoft.
Right, right.
No, I don't see any of them doing that.
Nope.
This is interesting. We got to monitor this one. This is something we got to keep tabs on.
This is the Australian dude because he's not selling.
I gotta stop going in on that.
He under the table with his joint.
And on that note, we're gonna move on because we have a lot of time. Lord NPD time, baby.
NPD, it's a monthly thing, but This time I'm double dipping, right? I'm gonna give you a little bit of MPD numbers. Nothing too crazy with MPD numbers. No just kind of
that certain system that just keeps on keeping on.
That keeps on keeping on.
We ain't gonna say nothing.
They got nothing playing.
That somebody lost their Switch, but
somebody abandoned their Switch.
They gotta feel it. We gotta keep the boot on their neck.
At least I don't have to buy certain games on the Switch just to have shit to play on it.
Tell them about it. Tell them about it.
Make my heart rejoice.
Tell them about it. I'm waiting for those exclusives.
Continue, Lord.
All right. So after the MPD numbers, I'm gonna get into Phil Spencer's DICE speech. So let's start with the MPD. So on the hardware front, Nintendo Switch sold the most consoles.
Boom.
In the month of January. With Sony coming in second. And ultimately, I died. Like it makes him sick. The Lord of Sleep returns. The Lord of Sleep returns.
I'm sleeping with him. He got that. We got a tent up right now and 2 sleeping bags.
Lord, let me give you some context. That the Lord's would definitely, Lord Solomon would definitely on the bandwagon of the Switch early. So we just, we're gloating a little bit. That's all this is. That's all this is. Continue.
That is pretty self-explanatory.
Got 20 more people in the
just for
playing the Switch. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Continue.
So Sony coming in second and
I
making.
love these MPD segments. Go ahead.
Continue. Sony came in second and making the overall most revenue. So they made the most money, but sold the second most amount of consoles. And Xbox One came in third. Mm-hmm. So just the most interesting little tidbit with these figures is that, and shout out to Matt Piscatella for this this tidbit of information. Absolutely. The difference in revenue between Switch and Xbox, so first place and third place, is only about 3%. So they're all doing
selling. Well. So they're all selling great. Yeah,
all selling great.
But the Switch has 20 more people on the subway.
I know, right? You just got 3 more people on the Switch.
Haters.
Mind you, these are the Illuminati lords. They're playing
Mario Kart with a cell phone.
Any conspiracy theories this month?
Let me get my battery pack, my cell phone, my charger. I need to play this Mario Kart.
We gonna play Doom at 10 frames per second, man. Let's get this done.
Hold on, let me get my cardboard box together.
So wait a minute, man. Any conspiracy theories this month? I need to hear it. I need to hear it. Any conspiracy theories this month, King?
No, there's absolutely no conspiracy. The only conspiracy is why do you keep going buying these Switches? That's the only conspiracy is why you stockpiling Switches.
Continue on the numbers.
All right. So
my conspiracy theory is that robbery that would happen a couple months ago? That was actually Lord Sovereign, and he's buying all these every place.
I know he's buying all the Switches and he's selling them for the low. He's single-handedly pushing the numbers.
Shout out to Lil Frog. He said it's 3% between all the systems.
The better thing we need to look at is what are them software sales?
Yeah, Lord King. This is for Lord King. This is
what? You said it's for me. Why is it for me?
Oh yeah, because
you said Hunter World.
Oh, okay. Listen. Drop that game the same time another AAA title drops, and those numbers don't count.
It's still gonna eat.
Man, you dropped it in a dead month.
Here they go. Hold on.
You're playing Comcam, whatever the hell their name is. Capcom. You're blaming Capcom because they were smart? Is that
I'm not. Listen, Lord Addict. Listen, you already know my position on it. My position is, it's a good game in a dead month. Hey, now drop that same game against a game. Where the testicles at? Put the testicles on the table, baby. You know who has testicles? Those dudes that
he said, "Will Xbox win an MPD ever again?"
You know what, Kratos? Kratos, I don't know, but would y'all have multiplayer games that y'all could play without getting kicked offline?
Okay. Can you
Kratos.
Like they in a hole?
Kratos. How that chicken dinner's going over there? You don't it's stopping.
We are fanboying out. Moving on.
Oh man, look at that stomach. You're hungry. Hold on. I can serve you some chicken nuggets. You gotta put on your cell phone and play from China. Oh, time out. Yo, Kratos. I'm playing PUBG later. Are you? But hey, I'm over here. I'm waiting for you, Kratos. Come on, baby.
Lord Dude comes on the pod.
Kratos' name like this.
He said the definitive edition's coming to PS4.
He said, Kratos said we beta tested.
Yo, that's you and Jesse Jackson. Keep hope alive, brother. Keep hope alive.
Lord, MPD before we completely turn this into fanboy
to the podcast thinking that this is a podcast for everyone, and then Addict and King show their true colors.
Listen, Sam heard me in the beginning when I said my blood is green. If you look at the DNA in the Xbox, it's green. So I'm gonna keep it funky. I buy everything. I have Neo Geo right here.
To a doctor.
That's right. I'm vomit green. I got a whole bunch of it in me. But I'm going to go play PUBG after.
Someone said, Kratos, you a Cowboys fan?
Shout out to Kratos for being a good sport.
No, Kratos. Kratos is my man. He added me on PlayStation.
Malik, we're gonna get Kratos on the show. I love his content.
Kratos,
hilarious.
Kratos, add me on PlayStation. Is Xbox 360 level 01?
Just don't plan on talking to him because you can do it on that.
Let's finish up with these numbers because the Phil Spencer stuff is stuff I really want to talk about. So, Monster Hunter World was #1 on both PlayStation and Xbox, and it's heartening for me to see that the Xbox crowd gravitating to the game because fanboy talk is like it's not going to do numbers on Xbox, and it did. So I'm happy about that. It's good to see that. On the Switch, Super Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart 8, and Zelda Breath of the Wild were 1, 2, and 3. So doing well. Year over year, like accessories are doing gangbusters. Like accessories, like when you talk about like the Thieves controllers, like the colored Joy-Cons.
Shout out to the Thieves controller. Kid Smooth's about to owe me one here in a couple minutes.
Already know.
So that cardboard.
And the headset,
Shout out Turtle Beach, right? Turtle Beach was up there.
Turtle Beach was up there. We have our
connection. Where's Plantronics, man? That's the better headset.
Listen, Plantronics, we gonna get y'all up there.
Plantronics headsets.
That's right, baby. Get those rigs. Get that Dolby Atmos love.
For real. So they should be seeing a surge in those sales at some point as well. So I mean, overall, like. Year over year, there was increases in hardware, software, accessory sales, revenue. Overall, the business of gaming is in a great place, a fantastic place.
I love that.
Absolutely.
So now
they were saying hip hop was dead not too long ago.
No doubt. Before you jump in, I just want to comment on the MBD. What I was impressive too. I don't want to understate is PUBG. Going from #7 last month to #4.
Yep.
And as the number, that's tremendous.
And that doesn't include PC sales. That's all Xbox One.
Great. Damn it, Lord.
Tell him.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got excited.
Dude, tell him, dude. Good, dude.
I love that. I actually laugh and smile when it happens. I'm like, you guys are on it. That's good. Like, man, that's fantastic.
I got it. Hey, Kratos, how's it feel to being #2 when it comes to PUBG? Oh, you're not even on the board.
He didn't even chart.
I want to point out one more thing, too, if I can.
Sure.
This is near and dear to all of our hearts. Where the hell is Destiny 2 on this list?
Yeah, man.
Not even in the top. Dude, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1 outsold Destiny 2.
Yeah, that was weird. But it came back all of a sudden with all the Dragon Ball love. Dragon Ball Fighters.
Well, they won mixtape away. Let's keep it real. They won mixtape away from being back in the game.
Right.
And if you look at the individual systems, not even in the top 10 on the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One.
Yeah.
And to put things into perspective, when Destiny 1 came out, that had an identity crisis of its own.
Right.
But in January of 2015, that was ranked #9.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, the only thing great with Saving Grace is that it had such a tremendous start that it's like #3 of the best-selling games over the past 12 months for the year because of how tremendous start. But like you said, it's been completely fading off the list, and it just goes to show what the state of the game is. But great point, Lord, dude. Lord Soft, let's get into Phil. I know you're about to get into that.
Yeah. So like I said, like the overall business of gaming is doing great. So that brings me to the second part of my topic. Which sort of addresses an aspect of gaming which isn't necessarily in as good of a place, and that's the culture of gaming. And when I talk about the culture of gaming, I'm talking about toxicity in the fan community, and sort of ingrained like biases and toxic corporate culture in the development end of the gaming community, right? So in his opening keynote address at this year's DICE Summit, Phil Spencer addresses these problems like within the industry. He talks about how they affected Microsoft as a whole, and he talks about how it affected the Xbox division in particular. So in his talk, he talks about the difficulties he had in sort of turning the Xbox brand around, and how that required a sort of fundamental reevaluation of what their corporate structure is, and the evaluation had to be made for a few reasons, right? Like on one end, he had to sort of reinvigorate the Xbox team and have them believe in what the new vision for Xbox was. You know, they kind of flubbed the launch of the Xbox One, and they needed people to believe in management's vision once again. And then second to that, or in addition to that, is they had to work towards eradicating what's seen as the systematic harassment and biases, both cultural and sexual, which are present in the corporate culture of the development community. And that's a topic that, again, things that have been happening recently in the world have sort of brought all this stuff up to light. So he spoke about the difficulty in sort of acknowledging his own faults, right, and prejudices, in order to be able to get everyone to believe in and subscribe to the change that they were trying to work towards, right? And the change, which includes, it's about inclusivity, it's about safety, and it's about diversity in the work environment, right? And he made it clear that it's imperative that the development community self-police themselves, and take the initiative to improve their culture, because only then can they do their best work, and the true potential of what gaming can become can be realized. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and see what you're doing wrong in order to improve. He also talked about leading by example, and how that would sort of translate the corporate culture to sort of ultimately improve the fan culture around gaming and its online communities. Obviously, there's a lot of toxicity in the online communities, and thankfully, we don't subscribe to that stuff. I think we sort of show the opposite end of that spectrum. But it's good that they understand that the example that they set on their end filters down to how we do things on our end as fans of these communities, right? So at the end of the day, you would hope that this talk inspires the entire gaming community to sort of be better, right? But the thing about it is, even if you're tone deaf to all of this stuff and you don't care about it, and it doesn't matter to you, he indicates that the bottom line is that creating an environment where everybody feels safe.
And now
we got Lord Brad, and who got now?
We got Lord Kratos.
Yo. This is the pony takeover. Kratos.
Yo, his avatar is a black Kratos.
hey, that's me. That's my face.
I feel, listen, you know what? Wear that black. Put it on proudly. But you're going to have to answer for those fake numbers that y'all pushing out there.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man. Fake numbers. Fake numbers.
Fake numbers.
Oh, Lord.
We'll get to that in a minute.
We're going to get to that in a minute. But Lord, let's finish up on the Phil Spencer.
So basically, he indicated that, it behooves everyone to create a work environment where everyone feels safe, appreciated, and respected. And it makes as much common sense as it does business sense, his exact words. So at the end of the day, Cog and I, we always give Phil flack for kind of his perceived lack of aggressiveness, right? The fact
only
that
begotten son, baby.
Yeah, especially in the face of sometimes when he gets overtly, or Microsoft or Xbox gets overtly attacked by its competitors, he doesn't respond in kind, right? But to be honest, I think that he is the perfect ambassador for this message in particular, right? He's a Microsoft lifer who's seen and he's experienced everything on both sides of gaming culture. He's not your typical suit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
He's a gamer who happens to be in a position of power in gaming, and I think it lends the message even more credence, right?
Right.
So, and the thing about the message is that it serves kind of at a call to arms too. And I say call to arms because, and shout out to Lord Brat for this, because he tweeted about this, and then he I think he had a rant about it. But once again, gaming and popular culture are under attack by pockets of the political establishment.
Absolutely.
And although the merits of the digital violence begetting actual violence argument, those merits are questionable, right? But the fact of the matter is that there are other aspects of gaming culture that at this point are tangibly more attackable. Right. And trust me when I say none of us want the government regulating any aspect of the entertainment that we consume, especially from a content perspective, right? Like, you know, with the elimination of net neutrality, like they're already affecting how we're going to be accessing this content. So, you know, we don't want them in any way, shape involved in anything having to do with gaming. So at the end of the day, his speech should serve as like an important wake-up call to everybody in the gaming community that we need to be vigilant. We need to be open-minded. And at the end of the day, we need to clean up our own house and worry about us for the good of gaming today and ultimately what we want gaming to be in the future. You know what I mean? So I think it's a very important speech from the ideal person to give it.
Absolutely. Now that we got Lord Kratos in it as well as Lord Dude, I just want to ask one, did you guys get a chance to listen to the Phil Spencer speech? And if you did, any thoughts and comments on it? So let's start with Lord Kratos, since you just jumped in real quick.
Yeah, man, I said my Phil Spencer's likability to me shot through the roof when he did that. He spoke on some real things, and sometimes it's okay to put gaming aside and focus on the bigger picture, because he's a bigger picture guy, right? He has a new role. He can't be stuck on the small things, and he spoke on diversity in gaming,
huge,
the toxicity. And stuff like that. It's much larger, right, than just some guys on YouTube and Twitter bickering over some MPD numbers. I mean, you got people that have real influence, guys that have millions and millions of followers and stuff like that. I take the whole PewDiePie incident, and you take the other guy. I can't think his name right now. Logan. I mean, those are bigger issues, right? Because they have larger followers. So their word means a lot more to a lot of followers. And so, you know, shout out to Phil Spencer for that. I'm glad that he was able to tackle that and speak on it and kind of show what Microsoft planned to do on tackling some of these issues on diversity, you know, women and all the stuff. It's all great for gaming, right? I think 2017 was the year of, I call it the year of the female, because we had, you know, we had Hellblade has a female character.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Horizon Zero Dawn, Uncharted DLC. It was, you know, Gravity Rush. It was just so many games that ended up being great. And it showed that it doesn't always have to be one particular guy or character that displayed. So, I you know, shout out to Phil Spencer for that. I think, you know, his likability in my particular arena went way through the roof.
Absolutely. Lord Dude, did you get a chance to catch the Phil Spencer speech at DICE?
I did, and I thought it was fantastic. And Lord Sovereign and Kratos made some great points. They've addressed quite a few of the issues that I liked about it. The one part that really stood out to me, though, was his talk about the inclusivity, especially amongst his team and other developers. You know, I like how he mentioned that allow developers from all walks of life. I mean, these teams are made up of people with all sorts of backgrounds, regardless of their orientation, their gender, the color of their skin. I mean, all these different people walks of life that create these studios. And I like how he pointed out, look, we need to hear from everybody. We want equal input on how games are made and the stories they tell. You know what I'm saying? Like, get their input as well, because when you look at a game like Hellblade, it puts you into the shoes of not just a woman, which is awesome, but also a person dealing with mental issues. That gives you a full understanding, a better understanding of their perspective of what life is like through their eyes. And I think by going to these other developers or the other members of the team and giving them equal voice in how they create these games, this will translate well to gamers, because it'll give us, it will hopefully build empathy and compassion for other people that we can't quite relate to one-to-one, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it was one of those moments. I mean, you know, Lord King knows. I mean, I've been very hard on Phil I'm just talking about from the, you know, his position standpoint, as far as not the person, the man. I met him a couple times. Great guy. Right. So my whole thing was like, you know, it's a bottom line business, whatever. He's got to get aggressive. I'm from the like Peter Moore era with my Xbox 360, you know, Microsoft was very aggressive, that kind of thing. So I've been extra hard on him, but I've always told King this, because I know that's King's guy. That's his Xbox only son. That's his guy. But I've been hard. And my thing was just like, okay, you know, now that he's in position, And let's be honest, in defense to him, he got served a very bad plate with the Xbox One to start. And what I thought was impressive, he actually mentioned that, how the morale was low, how, those meetings, and he had to get the trust back and stuff like that. So from the game's perspective, I really appreciated his transparency. But then when he got into social issues, what's going on in the community, what's going on with gamers, it resonated with me so much. Like, I'm like, damn, I got so much respect for him as a man, because he's tackling the issues that are actually
that
important.
People aren't talking about.
Exactly. I mean, he was talking about what's going on with Black Panther. He brought it into social consciousness, and he made a line. He was just like, now the pixel is greater than the pen. And that's another thing that kind of resonated with me, because gaming does hold that, authority and stuff like that. And I just like everything in the messaging, everything as far as inclusion and diversity, women in gaming, it was very powerful. And I didn't expect that. It took me a while to watch. I know Lord Kaibatsu and Lord were telling me like, hey, you gotta watch that Phil Spencer speech. You gotta watch,
It was powerful.
Yeah, he was on fire with that. And kudos to Phil. I'm curious to see where his journey and it goes. And from the Xbox perspective, if he keeps this up, your man Lord King, he might be up there. He might some fast feet if he keeps it up. I'm a Peter Moore guy. I got to be honest. But Phil, man, kudos to you. Salute. Speech was excellent. Lord King, I know you want to jump in.
I got to piggyback off what Kratos was saying. The 2017 was the year of the female, and not in the sense that when I say the year of the female, the powerful female. Okay, because you have to look at it in Zero Horizon Dawn. I probably say the name wrong all the time, but I have the game. All right, she's fully clothed from head to toe. Okay, so get that part right. So there's no putting it in a sexual overtone that you want to see this avatar. That's not there. It's just game merit. You understand? So now that we're looking at it from game merit, and you have little girls wanting to be these girls, these powerful females in video games, that's fantastic. Now, as far as what he was talking about is as the culture, that's addressing all the stuff that we're hearing about inside these game development studios of harassment and things of that nature, and biasness towards skin color and religion that's going on behind these closed doors. And what he's telling everybody is to take a big view of yourself and internalize that and treat others how you want to be treated, to bring that out in the environment. Right. And I think if you start with a me first mentality, that I'm going to do this first, I'm going to hold the door for this person, I'm going to hold the elevator for this person coming in, I'm going to say good morning. Trust me, when you don't know what anyone's dealing with day to day. So when you extend a hand to somebody, you might be extending extra one up to that person. You understand? He needed that to get going. So I've always liked his message. His message has never been us versus them.
Yeah. He's been included.
Never been that.
From, we joke with the fanboy stuff, Lord Kratos. We all joke. But it's like, even from that, he was one of the first executives to kind of mention the other platforms while in his discussions. And I remember, a lot of people in the Xbox community was kind of,
they didn't like it.
They ain't like that. They like, you're not supposed to do that.
It's supposed to always be red pill versus blue pill, right? This is what we're taught, right? It's always supposed to be Democrat versus Republican. It's always supposed to be blue versus red. It's always supposed to be us versus them.
Like Lord Kratos versus
and you know what? That's
at the same time, because the chat is saying that they don't believe that y'all are different entities. They
think we're the same person.
There we go.
Seems more irrelevant. They have spoken. They are
that's my brother, man. That's my brother.
You got to understand. We are gamers. Period. Okay, so I don't care where you game at. You're doing the same exact thing that I'm doing. You are gaming. It doesn't make any sense for the fanboyism. I have a PlayStation, so if I really hated it, I wouldn't give them a nickel. All right, and I'm pretty sure that I've purchased more PlayStations than a lot of people that you know.
Yeah, I got mine.
But yeah, exactly.
I got my shout out to you.
Yeah, unless you have a VR, you're not a bigger fanboy than me. But again, Phil's speech was important to the point that we have to change internally to outwardly affect everything. All right. And when we start making video games that shows that we internalize these things, like Detroit. Detroit has a couple of topics that I really want to see in our medium, because I believe our medium is going to reach more people than the actual cinemas now.
I'm with you on that, Lord King. I know a lot. I know Detroit got a lot of lashback what's going on, but I want those subject matters tackled. I do not want government to be involved in censoring us. And I'm tired of every time someone does something, they blame video games as the catalyst to push you to that point. We're the easy scapegoat because they're going to point to Call of Duty. But Call of Duty doesn't make up 90% of our community. You understand? There are other games in our community that is thought-provoking, that is empathetic to other people, that is loving, heartwarming stories that bring you to tears, that has absolutely nothing to do with bloodshed. So don't use those platforms to demonize our medium, because our medium is not based on one genre. Absolutely.
That's just my point and what I got from his speech. And I knew it was going to be powerful because, like I said, I put all my chips in one basket and it's named Phil.
Xbox only begotten son. Love, anything else on your topic before we move on?
No, man, I think the conversation around this stuff is great. And like I said, I think he's the perfect ambassador to deliver this message. I think he's respected throughout the gaming industry, both by fans and by professionals in the industry. So I think it goes a long way for him to deliver that message and to give his personal story as to what Microsoft is going through right now, what Xbox is going through right now. It matters. It matters on every front. And I think we need to really pay attention to that. And like I said, like, we're being attacked once again. I thought, hot coffee and
remember that?
What the heck is the name? Or what the Jack Thompson? I thought all that was behind us, and it's not. And it's not. So it's on us as a community of fans and developers to police our own house and make sure that it's tight.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah, no, good points. And shout out to Lord Chris. I know him, and we was on Lord Brad. We had some discussions as well on this subject matter briefly. And it's just one of those things. Like, I'm not gonna allow anyone to talk about games. Gaming saved me and a lot of my friends' life. You know what I'm saying? We from the South Bronx, so
Saturday.
You know what that Saturday used to be like. And you come over to Lord Cognito's place, and it was an escape to get away from the drama that was around us.
The world didn't matter. What mattered was going on in between those walls. Tekken. You heard me?
Challenges. And the fun. So it's good to see. It's absolutely good to see. So we're gonna move on. I'm gonna jump on into my topic here. So some rumors going on right now. Looks like with the Nintendo Switch, it looks like there's an industry insider. This guy, he's been dropping some nuggets in the past. His name is Marcus Sellers. He's on Twitter. He's a good follow. And basically, he has predicted some things in the past. He had predicted, I believe, Call of Duty coming in the Switch and a couple other little leaks. Soul Calibur 6, he was one of the first to be ahead of that. So he just dropped some bombshells pertaining to the Switch. And the first one was Diablo 3. He was saying that there's definitely a Switch port coming. He's saying it should be out early 2019. He said they want to implement local play and with multiple Switches. And then what I thought was the bombshell was Fortnite. And he's saying that, he says, like, Fortnite equals Nintendo Switch. And he's like, Battle Royale will be around August, September.
He said, did he predict the cardboard, though?
Y'all gotta stop. So August, September, and he said it's it's a perfect marriage. There's no doubt about it. So I wanted to bring this to the round table in reference to Fortnite. Obviously, we know right now with Fortnite specifically, there's a huge update right now. It's looking fantastic, moving at 60 frames per second, pretty much on all the platforms. And what do you think how that would go for the Switch if this is true, as well as the Diablo 3 port? So, Lord Dude and then Lord Kratos, what do you think about this?
Well, Lord Kratos is gone, but that's okay.
Lord Kratos out? Okay, cool. That's cool. But, shout out to Lord Kratos for coming through, though.
This is one of the issues I have with the Switch. Like, I love the Switch. Okay, don't get me wrong. I played through Celeste. I love certain games on the Switch. Mario vs. Rabbids is a fantastic game on the Switch. Awesome game on the Switch. When I hear about games like Diablo 3, awesome game. You hear about Fortnite, awesome game. But these are games that are obviously a little bit older already. Not Fortnite so much, but these are games that run infinitely better on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. And the one game I'm going to look at real quick is Payday 2. This is a game that's coming out to the Switch this week, and man, this thing is just getting annihilated right now for being not only for being behind in updates to the PC and the other console versions, but because of the lack of voice chat. How can you have any of you played Payday 2 solo?
How can you not play
Wait, you can't hook up your cell phone to the battery pack?
No, it doesn't have it.
It doesn't have that. There's no voice chat. Okay, so if you try to play Payday 2 solo, that game is just garbage. Your AI partners are absolutely useless. So I don't want to play that. And then if I want to play cooperatively, a game that requires communication, spot-on communication, and you can't even do that, Payday 2 is dead on arrival. Dead on arrival on the Switch.
And on top of that, it's the older version.
Yes.
It's not even the most up-to-date version of the game. Like, that's inexcusable. And Overkill already had a bad reputation for not supporting console versions frequently. There's been uproars. If you look at like the forums, people don't trust Overkill, and they were screaming like, we want to wait and see with the Switch version. And sure enough, it's just like Lord Dude said, older version, no voice chat. But continue, Lord Dude.
But see, like, and then I look at that, and then I look at the recently announced Dark Souls Remastered. Okay, yeah, they call it out. They're like, hey, it's coming to the Switch. You're like, oh, cool. And then you find out it's coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. You're like, oh, 4K 60 frames? I don't need that on the Switch. I don't need that on the Switch. That's not going to happen. No, I'm not saying Diablo 3 and Fortnite, if those are all coming, and those are going to be the same situations, but Nintendo has to figure out the system to make those games appealing. It's going to be very difficult to play Diablo 3 and not be able to communicate unless you're all sitting together. But I mean, at my age, I don't have time to drive down to Ohio to see Frankie, pick up Piccolo on my way down, and then have Bender fly in from Oklahoma just to do some local stuff so we can talk to each other. If there's no chat, don't want to play it. Fortnite, if there's no chat, I don't want to play it. And it's obviously there's no way that runs at 60 frames on the Switch.
Yeah,
no way. So you already have the optimal version on other consoles. It's just very difficult to bring these games out a year later. And have any real appeal, especially if they're going to charge the price they're going to charge for. We don't know what those prices are, but I'm pretty sure the Switch will have some high prices there for these games. So it's very difficult to get excited about these games on the Switch, even though it's a cool concept. So many of the needed features to enjoy these games are absent.
Right. No, this is valid points. Lord Saul, I'm gonna start with you. What do you think about all this Diablo 3? And then actually there's one more I forgot that actually Marcus Sellers mentioned. Nier Automata. He's hearing to the Switches. Yes, he tweeted that as well.
Xbox was going to Switch. Wow.
Yeah. So with all of this information, Lord Saul, what do you feel? Fortnite, Diablo 3, possible Nier Automata. This guy has some history. He's not been all wrong. He's not barking up wrong trees.
With Nier and Diablo 3, those are games that Nier's a single player game. Diablo 3 can be played single player. What worries me about that Diablo 3 on that form factor, if you're playing it in handheld mode, is that isometric kind of type of game in a handheld mode is a little weird. It can potentially be too small for the screen, and so stuff like that. But like piggybacking on what Lord Dude said, yeah, I think the thing about it is the only thing that is exciting about these games, and I said it before, like when it came to Doom on the Switch and Wolfenstein, whenever it comes out this year on the Switch, the portability is the only thing that sort of makes it an exciting proposition. because at this point we have no idea what their online is. We have no idea what they're planning. Like, you know, Kimishima came out and said that like, you're really gonna be excited by what we do with this online stuff, and I'm like, wait a minute, you only want $20 for me a year, and I'm supposed to be really excited about what you're bringing? I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. Like, it doesn't.
Yeah, but there y'all go again, equating value with that dollar sign.
It's $20 though, bro. Like, it's $20. Like,
okay, I have high hopes for that 20.
If only I have super high hopes for it. I have high hopes. I don't necessarily have high expectations. So two different things. Right?
That is two different things. That is two different
things. Yes, sir.
But you know, to me, like, Fortnite makes sense if they can get it. You know, the art style is such that it shouldn't be super taxing. It's obviously going to run at 30 frames per second. Right, and again, if you can release that game with some sort of concrete indication of how you're going to handle online, true online, not local multiplayer, not ad hoc multiplayer, not not using your phone app to communicate. Like, if this is the game that you utilize to really push what your online is going to be, and it works, great. I think it's absolutely possible. But you know, they got to show it. They got to show it.
I'm with you. I'll jump in right quick. I think I think Fortnite in particular, just from the art style of the game, and I could kind of see like a cell shaded kind of, you know, colorful. It kind of fits a Nintendo style game, in my opinion. But like you guys said, you know, all this is moot and irrelevant if the online infrastructure is not in place. You know, and like Lord Dude said, he's not traveling down, you know, making them drive down to get these powwows of LAN parties going. That's not happening. People are not doing that. So the reality is, I think, and what I'm hoping is, I shout out to Spawn Wave Media, good follow, good podcast. What I'm hoping is they finally have waved the white flag on that damn app, and they realize the engagement numbers are not there. You know, I don't even think people who play Splatoon are using that app. You know, it's only for one game. So I think ultimately it comes down to they have to have that thing in place. You know, because at the end of the day, you can't charge $20 for what you currently have existing. You know what I mean? So it has to be something. It has to be either messaging. It has to be voice chat across the board. One would hope. Now, if that's the case, if these things launch alongside, if a Diablo 3 launch alongside, if a Fortnite launch alongside this new infrastructure. Now, we did hear, what was the date we heard for the infrastructure? Was it
September 20th, something like that?
Right. September 20th.
Now, the rumor that Sellers is saying for Fortnite is August/September. And if it lines up, that will be a perfect launch title for their said service if they have the proper protocols and infrastructure in place. That's the question with Grandpa Nintendo. We never know. You know what I'm saying? What they're gonna do. So yeah, I mean that's the hope. You know, like I said, Diablo I think is another good fit for the system. You know, Nier, again, all this stuff sounds great. I just want Nintendo to get things. Shout out to DevSync. Someone tell Nintendo to pull us a Sony and copy Xbox Live. Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? But
or just call Xbox and sign up.
Call them up. Phil is inclusive right now. He's very.
That's right.
He's in a good
mood.
We
are the world.
Call up Phil. Get those network protocols going, you know, and let's go, man. Let's do it. Lord King, I already know you're going to have an interesting take before you move on. So let's go.
No, actually, it's nothing is interesting at all. They don't have the game, get the game. Who cares? If you can't, if that's your only way to play that game, I don't care if it's an inferior version. If it's your only way to play that game and you want to play that game, then play that game. You picked the system, you made a choice, deal with it. I don't care if it's a 4K resolution version. Maybe you don't even have a 4K TV. So it doesn't matter where's the superior version. It's about where you game and how you play. So if you're having fun where you playing and how you're gaming, do it. The numbers indicate that they're selling to somebody. The numbers, he said Zelda, Mario, and Mario Kart is still the top sellers. Zelda came out a year and some change ago. Come on now. Yeah. Like, you really got to think about it this way. If that game is still selling in that fashion, they have a dedicated audience that is happy and is thriving. Absolutely. So why would we discourage that? And if I'm a developer, I'm trying to figure out how the hell can I trim the fat off of my game to get it there to those people. So don't be upset with the fact that they're getting games. Be upset that you don't have a bigger install base, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
that's a good point.
That's hating. Let me get the game.
Proving that these Switch ports are selling well. So, why not accommodate it? Why not get this infrastructure in place and then really take off? And actually, like I said last week, you appeal to the hardcore. That's the only thing that's preventing the hardcore from jumping in on the Switch. Because right now it's more of a casual thing and a resurgence for Nintendo. But at the same time, if you throw that in, some voice messaging, some achievements, and a voice chat, that's it. That's all.
That's right. All that for $20.
Let's go. I hope so. I really do hope so.
I think they'll do it. They always find a way. They got you playing with cardboard. I'm not underestimating nobody.
I just want to say, I dig what Lord King is saying. If that's the only system you're playing on, yes, buy some of those games, except Payday 2. Don't buy Payday 2
I'm with him.
Friends don't let friends play Payday 2 alone. I'm sorry, it's just terrible.
No party chat and an old version. So let's finish this thing. I know, Lord King, you got your topic. We're going to try to power through. I know we're going a little long today, but it was just great discussions. Chat has been fantastic. And we had to get Kratos in here to get in there. That was kind of funny. So, Lord King, what you got going on with the Xbox One X? Some parity stuff? What's going on?
All right. Well, shout out to everybody that has brought an X. Right, you got an X, you got your shiny new X. You like, ooh, baby, I want to drive this car. Right? Anytime you get a new anything, I don't care what it is. If it's a laptop and it's new, you putting your all games on it to see how better it runs. You're like, yeah. You understand? Look at that graphics card go, baby. You sit there with your hands in your pocket. How many times have you ran benchmarks? It's just measuring sticks. We do it as gamers. That's what we do. I think it's about time that Microsoft, and I think the Game Pass is a great platform for us to start to exercise that power. What I'm not liking across the boards is you see games are being released on PlayStation Pro, and there's some weird parity. Like the games they're running close to the same. The only thing that's different is the shrubbery over here. I don't want to hear that. That's not. I got a Ferrari and they got a Pinto. I don't want to see that Pinto. And I'm not on the highway doing 55 with the Pinto. I'm not doing that. The Pinto can't go past 55, but I can. So stop holding me back. So only person that can do that, because developers aren't. Sony sold. So that's going to be the lead platform, and they'll push it down that way, and they can only go as high as they're going to. Let's do some resolution bump over there, little frames per second. Let's put that there. It is. They'll be happy with that. No, I'm not happy with that.
Def Singer said that Pinto's fire, though. He like his Pinto.
No, that Pinto is not fire. It is not fire. My Ferrari goes 120 in the fast lane. I want to be in the fast lane. I don't want to be getting tickets because of you. All right, I want to be in the fast lane. You should not be I should not see you in my rearview mirror. You should not be close to me. So what Microsoft and what I'm calling for Microsoft is this, right? Being that we have Game Pass, we have a preview program. Do you think that it's time for Microsoft to start putting high-end PC games, because it's all-inclusive, Game Pass is all-inclusive, and high-end Xbox X only games in the preview program and inside Game Pass, because it's free, to show you the strength of your system, to show you the possibilities of the world with them maximizing the power of the system instead of it being shackled and held back and only used for up-resing and frame boosting.
Lord, dude, what do you think about this? What's your take?
It's funny because you mentioned that, and you think about Nintendo for a moment with the 3DS. That they have the new 3DS, and there's certain games that only run on the new 3DS, and nobody's mad about that.
That's a good point.
But then when you start talking about the X, like, no. Microsoft said this is all one part of the same. It's all one and the same. It's all part of the same family. So we have to keep things sort of close. But now Mikey Barr is out there saying, no, we don't enforce any parity.
Yeah.
Here's my thought on it. When the PS4 Pro was announced, everyone was like, well, they got to keep things in parity, and that's because the Pro, while it's a boost, it's not substantial. I mean, it's not a huge boost. Whereas if you look at the X, okay, that's a $500 system with a beefy engine under the hood.
Right.
Okay,
Absolutely.
This thing can do some serious work if it wants to. I think it's a little bit easier for Xbox fans, specifically those that just have an Xbox One X, to say, hey, look, I want better stuff. And I get that because, hey, I have an Xbox One. I would love to see the best.
Right.
I want to get the most out of my system. It's a little bit easier for a pro owner to say, oh, it's okay if they're the same. But man, when you own an X and you've paid the extra $100 over the Pro, and you look at the specs on that thing, I am not opposed to getting a beefed up game that's exclusive at this point.
Yeah, I hear where you're going. And what do you feel, Lord Dude, about remember when Brandon Green I don't want to say got in trouble, but remember when the announcement, and he was like, oh yeah, the X can do 60 frames, no problem. And he made that statement. And then there was like kind of like a later retractment, like, oh, we don't have nothing to comment on the version. So,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So like, what did you feel? Because there was a lot of uproar. We did an ILP about that whole episode. It was very peculiar. I believe it was when we had Potentially Perfect on. And yeah, it was an uproar. A lot. We had to do a poll, and the poll, eventually the people who said the Xbox One X should not be held back won that poll. But I just wanted your thought. Like, what did you feel about that whole fiasco when Brandon Green came out with that?
It was amusing to watch everyone get mad about it, and I can understand why, because there's this conception that if you play a 60 frame game against somebody who's playing a 30 frame game, there's like this huge disadvantage. But I mean, we've all heard it before. I mean, if you're playing on PC, there are people playing PC games at 720, barely 30, going up against people going 1080p 60, and they're doing fine. They've been doing this for a long time. But I understand, though, consoles are all the same, and you try to keep everyone on a level playing field. That's always the hardest part with consoles, because everyone's buying the same system. But the Xbox One X is not the same as the Xbox One. It's much stronger. So, I mean, I guess they could try doing something like a trial to see how it does and see how it fares, but it's going to be a slippery slope for Microsoft, because, they initially said this is all part of the Xbox One family. So they, for them to go back and say, look, we'll do Xbox One exclusives, they're gonna get some blowback especially from the original Xbox One owners who have not upgraded for whatever reason. Maybe, and it's hard for a lot of gamers to have one system and be like, okay, I'm gonna go out and buy the $500 one. That's just not feasible for a lot of people, and I can understand why those people would be upset about it, because they were told from the start, don't worry about it.
Right. No, I understand. Continue.
But at the same time, hey man, I paid $500 for this system. This thing's beefy as hell. I want to see some good stuff. I understand both sides of the argument. It's a very slippery slope for Microsoft.
Absolutely. Lost off.
Yeah, I think, fundamentally, of course, I agree with King. Like, I want the best I could possibly get out of my $500 system. But like Lord Dude said, like, it's a slippery slope, because they made all these promises about what their ecosystem is and how it's going to be handled. So it would be hard to go back on that, right? It'd be considered flip-flopping if they went back on that and figured out some way to just give X exclusive stuff. That's one part of it. Another part of the argument that I have a little bit of trouble with, and I've always had trouble with this, is the fact that the perception that games, obviously, if you make a game specifically for one platform, you're going to be able to maximize that platform to the fullest, right? But again, I think that games now, we've been seeing this on the PC front forever. Games have always been created with scalability in mind. And I don't see the problem with creating a game that runs a certain way on base Xbox and runs considerably better with, better textures, better lighting, better all this on the X. I mean, it's been happening. So that whole perception about, like, the game can only be better if it's created specifically for that platform. I don't like that, because that's not how gaming has been for a long time. Steam has been
back up on that statement. I want to reinforce what you're saying. So you're saying, like, you don't want that whole mentality, or you don't subscribe to that theory of, like, where you at with a base,
when it comes
X, like to King's point, like to a base X game. Where would you be at with it?
I think they have to be created. The games have to be created with the specific hardware in mind. I think it's fine to create a base game and have it scalable so that it looks as good as it can on a base Xbox One and as good as it can on an Xbox One X. I don't subscribe to the argument that because it wasn't created specifically for the X, it's being held back. Because again, like I said, games have been created. Games have been created this way for the longest time. Like when you look at a game on the PC, a low end PC is going to show a certain game a certain way, and then you put a 1080 Ti in there, and the game's going to look completely different.
I'm talking about a game that doesn't even run on that the regular X. I'm just talking about a testing ground for Xbox One X specific titles and high-end PC titles.
You're talking about from a pure maximization standpoint.
That's it. Pure beast mode only.
You want to push it to the limit.
Yeah, I would love to see that. Again, another reason why, fundamentally I agree with it. Another reason why I think from a logistical standpoint that is not happening is this. Like when they finally announced the name of the Xbox One X, right? So this past E3, right? They admitted that they had only gotten dev kits into developers' hands maybe 6 months before, and that not all developers had them yet. So they were still getting dev kits out there, right? So if you just look at time frame, like logistically, it'd be hard to get a game that was created from the ground up with the X in mind this year, even next year. So then if you're looking at, 2020 for a game that was built with the X in mind, I think at that point we're already talking about what's next for Xbox. Right, we're not talking about the X anymore. We're talking about whatever's next at that point. So I think just logistically, it'd be hard to get that done. Right, if anybody could do it, it's Microsoft with their properties. Right, if they really put the effort into it. But I just think, from an overall, maybe a third party perspective, it'd be harder to see that happen.
Fair enough. I mean, this is an interesting topic. I mean, Lord King, I know he's been pushing this one for a minute. You know what I'm saying? He wants to push to the limit, and it's kind of interesting because, like Lord Dude said, like with Mikey Barr's tweet, I mean, he had to tweet again. He said because somebody was like, "Yeah, it's unfair that the X is being held back," and he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about. We do not require any parity in terms of S or X." I see both arguments. I see the slippery slope argument, but at the same time, if they're making statements like this, then I would the way I look at the way they're treating it to me feels like the elite controller. The X is like the elite controller. So you have all these things, like you got your elite, you've got the paddles in the back, you've got your trigger speed, you got all these fundamental advantages over a standard gamer. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is they are not the vibe I'm getting from them is that they are not looking to hold it back. I don't know. I do agree with Solve though, is I don't know if they're gonna go that route with the base Xbox One X game, only because, as Lord King hates, the tiki torches will come out. The tiki torches. The base one. Let's be honest. The base X crowd is still the majority. Like Lord Addict and those guys. I could see the rage come forward. You guys
check this out, right?
But we will move forward and look what you're eliminating me. I can't play title something.
Yeah. Okay, so what? Check this out, right?
So selfish.
I really don't care. I can't play high end.
About inclusivity.
Well, we don't. You are included. We're not. The game is free in Game Pass. We're not precluding you from playing the game, but you need these specs to step. No, you don't have to do anything. You can look from afar. They have videos on YouTube, and you can be part of the community by interjecting yourself from a distance.
Part of the discussion.
You know what's crazy? We do this with everything in this life, right? You go inside the store to buy jeans, right? I didn't know that there was jeans that was $400. I'm honestly telling you this. I did not know this, right? Because that's not where I shop, right? So I go inside the store and I'm going to get a pair of jeans, and he's like, "Oh, these jeans is over here. These jeans is over here." So I'm like, "Oh, those jeans is nice. Let me get this. Let me get my size. I'm trying them on." He did not say the price. Right? Let me see this. Let me see this. So put it on the counter, and he said $400. I said, "Oh, I don't need 4 pair of jeans. I just need the one." Right? So he's like, "Oh no, that's 4." I said, "Okay, you can take that back. You can give me the ones that normal jean prices. Now, if you can't shop there, there are things in this world that you can't afford. You don't be upset about it that you can't afford it. You just can't afford it. They are there. You can admire them. You can aspire to them, but they give you a goal.
Dude, I was just gonna say he sounds like Don Matrick.
You sound like the Don right now.
You want to see this Xbox One X game? Go to YouTube.
And they do have a system for you.
It's called YouTube.
Hey, I play with people.
It's called YouTube.
Listen, I play with a lot of my friends, right? And we play PUBG. You know, you got a lot of dudes in here that know, right? We play PUBG. Now we have the X crowd, and we have the simps, and we have the OGs, right? Now when the OGs jump in, they are loading in, man. Slow. They are. It's horrible. I feel for them. We got to guard their bodies sometimes when they're lagging out.
Yeah, and we got it runs horribly slower.
And then that's not the simp version. The simp version. The simp is a little bit better. They're a little bit better. And you're telling them, yo, there's a guy over there on 20 yards out at 56 South. And he's like, I don't see him. Hold on. It didn't pop in yet. And shout out to the whole team that has graduated to X. Shout out to Vogel. He got an X. He said it's night and day. You have to aspire to things, right? And a lot of things ain't for everyone. But what I'm saying is, for those people who did put out, what about those people?
No, I understand the point.
Yeah, just put games in Game Pass, because there's some games in Game Pass I will never touch. And it has absolutely nothing to do from a performance standpoint. It's just a game taste standpoint. Maybe that game is in there that shows me why I have an X. That's all. I don't care if it's a test demo. Put demos in there. I don't care. Yeah, but just show me what my system can do.
Pinto fam is about to roll on you, Lord King.
Let them roll. Meet me in PUBG. Meet me in PUBG with your OG system, the big fat one, the one that looked like a VCR, the one that didn't sell right. Meet me with that then.
Oh my God, we're gonna wrap this thing up. You're a savage. I understand the sentiments. There's legit arguments on both sides as far as not being held back. So it will be interesting to see what happens in the future of Game Pass. If they even decide to go that route. My gut says they probably won't, say they don't want the backlash. They'll probably wait for the next generation. But who knows? We'll see if, we'll see if the Pinto fam get eliminated. We're going to wrap this thing up. We went way over.
What Addict said, we all float down here.
Let's get into the poll and then wrap this thing up. So we got the new ILP poll this week with the recent rumors of a possible relationship with Microsoft and SEGA of Japan. What do you think is the best course of action for Xbox? The choices are A, purchase SEGA outright for its in-house exclusives. B, partner with SEGA only for select IPs. Or C, I don't care unless Shenmue 3 is part of the deal. Those are the questions. That is the question. Those are the choices. Please rock the vote and hit the ILP Twitter polls when it goes up, most likely tomorrow. Lord, dude, an absolute pleasure to have you at the realm and the round table. Where can the fine people find you? What's going on with the Short Pause Gaming crew?
First off, I got to buy one of these tables. Okay, seriously, I need to know where you guys got this big ass round table from. I want one. You can find me on Twitter at thedude1979. The website is www.shortpause.com. We're also on Twitter at the Short Pause. The Short Pause Gaming Podcast is on iTunes, TuneIn, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud. The latest episode will be going up tonight.
Where's 150? Where's 150?
I'll be going. I got to get to work on it as soon as I get done here. So it'll be up later tonight. It's also on YouTube, Twitch, and on our Facebook page, Short Pause Gaming. I just want to give one quick shout out to the guys at Short Pause: Ben Boyce at Piccolo930, Frankie Ayler at Viper Strike, Bender Holt at Bender_guitar, and Taz Mia at Taz Pause. These guys are just highly motivated, highly ambitious guys, and honestly, Short Pause won't be a thing without them. These guys come to work every Saturday night. They do their job in the podcast. They stream during the week. They review games when we get them in a timely manner. These guys are dedicated, and I honestly, I'm in debt to them forever. I absolutely love these guys. They're fantastic workers. I love spending every waking night playing Destiny 2 with them or other games. But seriously, to those 4 guys, shouts out. I love you guys very much. You guys are the best.
Absolutely. We definitely want to reiterate, definitely want to shout them out. Like you said, Viper Strike, Bender, that man on the guitar, Lord Piccolo, you know what I'm saying? And this, what was the Secret Lord? I want to get his name right. The Secret Lord that is behind the shadows.
Tasmia. He's always hiding in the shadows.
All right. That's the man right there. That's the man that makes it happen. Yeah, shout out to you guys. We see the dedication. We see the streams. You're constantly doing, indie spotlights and let's plays and very active, positive in the community. And we want to give those platforms light, man. And, me and you, Lord, have been talking for a while, just been working out the scheduling, and I'm so happy to finally get you in the realm of the Lords to deal with all of this.
It's been a pleasure. I mean, you guys are seriously awesome to listen to. It's even better to be able to sit down here and have a talk with you guys. You guys are one of the best podcasts out there for this community. You do great things. You bring the community together. You don't separate it. And we appreciate you guys very much, and I love listening to your show. So please keep doing what you're doing, making this community a better place.
Much appreciated. It means a huge thing to us. It means a lot, man. Thank you so much. Lord Attic had to roll. Lord, he had to turn into Lord Sleep. He had the double shift today. So Lord Sleeper has returned. He had to go legit, but he sent me a message. He didn't want to be rude, so I had to let everybody know what happened. And Lord Saw, where can the fine people not find you online?
First of all, shout out to Lord Dude, man. Fantastic conversations. Always good to have a Lord of our age group come on.
Yes.
That can relate to our SEGA stories and our old school stories. So fantastic having you on, man.
Thanks.
The people could not find me on Xbox Live and PSN at BX Sovereign, but you can find me dying a whole lot on Switch. But you can find me because I'm not. You won't find me because I'm not getting.
Put your security up.
That game.
That code ain't gonna know it. No, sorry.
No doubt, man. Yeah, that's our offline profile Illuminati, the man that lives in the shadows where you exist. Not a good to have you on, Sam. Lord King, the excess non-Pinto gamer.
Dude, I am so happy that you're on the podcast today. It's very refreshing. Like I said, talking to people of the same like mind, inclusive, not exclusive type of mentality. You came from the ground up. When you said in television, I was like, yeah, baby.
That was OG status. When he threw that down, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but see, we have a different type of patience when it comes to things. We don't feel entitled for stuff because we came from actual blocks, playing 2 blocks. Okay, 2 blocks in a little ball, and we thought it wasn't even a ball; it was a smaller block. All right. So the struggle is real with us, and I understand. I respect it. I love everything that everyone's doing. Cognito shot me the podcast last night so I could refresh myself with you guys' podcast. I actually found it very entertaining. It was hugely entertaining. So I appreciate you coming through. I appreciate you giving the time and the energy, and it was worth it. It was definitely worth it because it was a great podcast. Where you guys can find me? Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Y'all really think I'm trolling? I'm not trolling. On PlayStation Network is Xbox 360 Lover 01. That's not a troll. That's me.
Tell Kratos that was the way he gotta find you.
He gotta find me there. You gotta put those words in to get me. I'm a cheat code, and I will pop up like. Bing! But also, I'm approachable. Everybody in this chat knows I'm highly approachable.
Yes.
I'm not standoffish. I'm a king of the people, baby.
Yeah,
join the room. We're gonna have fun.
We just need Lord King to get them streams going, man. You got the whole.
Yeah, well, we're gonna stream today. We're streaming today. We tried that streaming a couple of weeks ago with me, Brap, and so on. And Brap had the PG on his filter, and we told him he had to cut that out because this is not the podcast. Yes. This was the king that y'all saw before the cameras went off. You saw that? You remember that?
Oh man!
Oh, shirt off, King. Let's go.
Oh my God, this is Lord Cognito. Spread that gaming realness on the ILP. Not telling you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. Thanks again for Lord Dude coming through of the Short Past Gaming Network. Oh man, such a fun show today. Shout out to Lord Kratos, man, for coming through last minute. That was actually fun. We're gonna get him on too.
I didn't know that was a thing that everybody thought me and him was the same person.
No,
I really didn't know that was
both hilarious. You both love your platform. You know what I mean? And you both clown the others, and it's funny. So people were like, I had to do it. I was like, people don't believe that they're the same. People, there was a rumor going. Relevant was starting it.
Thanks, Irrelevant. That's funny.
I said I just shoot him an emergency DM just to get in to prove that you don't have a doppelganger running around. But yeah, that was fun, man. Shout out to everybody, saying that show support. Yeah, and really, chat was absolutely lit today. We got a lot of stuff cooking up. Thank you for the support on Flashpoints. I know Destiny is dead, but me and Ibontis, we keeping the torch running on the Iron Lord podcast channel. We'll have another episode up probably this Thursday. We're trying to get it locked in between 7 and 8 p.m. We'll do that going on. And yeah, man, please support the Lords and everything we do. We'll have the audio and all that good stuff up. And the multiverse will be up tomorrow, I believe, at 8 p.m. And also, I believe the Phoenix podcast, be on the lookout for them. They've got some stuff cooking up. They will be the new addition to the Inner Circle Network. They got some really cool stuff going on. Yeah, man. Shout out to those guys. Got a chance to chat with them offline. They look really positive and really good, like hardcore comic book, and anime and all that good stuff.
I'll be over there.
Yeah, like they've got it popping. They, we were talking about like greatest villains and stuff like that. And I think I threw Killmonger on. They were like, okay, we got to have you on the show, Lord. We like.
What, they talking about a movie or talking about
we talking about like the entire MCU, that kind of stuff.
Doom.
And, yeah, like, of course. We just shoot it, and it was just fun, positive stuff, man. So yeah, man, thank you for all the support. Thank you for the chat. Everybody enjoy their Sunday. And on that note, we are out of here. Peace.
Hunters for life.
Damn you, dude. Damn you.